official World Cup coverage on SJ Radio.
8 more games left. That means 8 more teams left to play. Well, 8 games, I was supposed to say. 16 teams left to play. And we have got for yourself now, we've got Uruguay and France on the way. Then 7 o'clock we've got Brazil and Belgium. And then tomorrow it's a big one, 3 o'clock is Sweden versus England, and then at 7 o'clock it's Russia and Croatia. Of course, the winners of Uruguay and France will play the winners of Brazil and Belgium. The winners of Sweden and England will play the winners of Russia and Croatia. The winners of those two will go into the final. Understood? Yeah, good. Okay, so we're coming in to the quarter-final stage of the tournament. That means we have yet another match report for yourself. This is everything that's been happening over the last couple of days of the World Cup. In the build-up to Uruguay and France, this is the match report. The latest news from the World Cup in Russia ahead of the quarter-final stage of the tournament. I'll tell you what, it's all kicking off in a certain country. Let's have a listen.
John Stone says England must not be complacent when they face Sweden in the World Cup quarter-finals tomorrow. Of the 8 teams left, Sweden are ranked as outsiders to win the tournament by most bookmakers.
We can't underestimate Sweden as a team. I think everyone's seen that now, and they're not going to be able to hide away from what qualities they've got.
Jamie Vardy remains England's main injury doubt. He's suffering with a groin strain and he hasn't trained since England's win against Colombia on Tuesday. Tonight, Brazil face Belgium for a place in the Final Four. Brazil have been knocked out by European opposition in the last 3 World Cups. Belgium haven't reached the semi-finals since 1986. France face Uruguay this afternoon and they've received an injury boost. Striker Edison Cavani has been training following a calf injury. If he loses his race to be fit, though, he's likely to be replaced by Christian Stuani or Maxi Gomez.
And there you have it in. So those are all of your World Cup news for today. Now, for a Uruguay win is 7-2, for to be a draw in the end of 90 minutes is 22-10, and for a France win you have a 1-1 chance. So teams are just coming out. Let's get it in. Who will be in for a chance for the semi-finals? Is it going to be Uruguay or France?
The World Cup. This is SJ Radio.
It's onions around the neck, all of that in the stands. You were up at 5 o'clock this morning, you couldn't sleep. You went to visit the Chop Chop brothers in Rostov-on-Don to get your hair cut. That's how big this game is.
It's enormous. It's a tale of 2 countries, isn't it? You've got the beauty of France and then you've got the brawn of Uruguay. This is it, isn't it? One of these teams goes home. 2 former winners clashing.
Teams just lining up for the pre-match photos. As I said, we're under slightly overcast sky. It's really nice, cool temperatures, actually. And you and I, Chris, our production team came yesterday to pick the tickets up, and Juliet and Ksenia came back and said, well, the stadium's just like a big swimming pool, and weren't really that impressed with it. I think this is wonderful. This sort of the mix of the azure dark blue, the light blue, the white, and also the way the seats sort of sweep up and down as they do at the Emirates Stadium. It's sort of like waves on the Volga or the Oka rivers, which are just beyond the stadium.
It's a brilliant stadium to host a quarter-final. It's like a coliseum. It's gladiatorial, isn't it?
It is. Huge colonnades, big white colonnades outside the stadium. And our 2 sets of gladiators are ready to go. BBC Radio 5 Live at the World Cup. Actually saddens me to say there are 8 games left in this wonderful tournament. We have to savour every single moment, and we're hoping for something very special again today. This is going to be Uruguay against France, 7 o'clock tonight on 5 Live. We have got Brazil against Belgium. The winners of each tie will meet in the semi-finals in St. Petersburg. Just before I run through the teams, Chris, something we wanted to mention pre-match. Referee today, Nestor Pitana of Argentina. Very experienced referee. It's his 2nd World Cup. He did 4 games at the last World Cup. After what we saw went on in England, Colombia, got to be strong. Got to get a grip of this early.
He has, big afternoon. He's just got to do his job properly, be strong. I wonder what the relationship is, though, between Argentina and Uruguay. What he's thinking.
Argentina, who went out to France in the last round as well, if you want to chuck that little one in there. He's all in black, he's ready to go. Let's get you through the teams before we get underway. No Edinson Cavani. We've seen him. He's sitting on the bench. He is in team kit. Whether he'll appear later, I don't know. No. You doubt it, don't you, Chris, with the calf injury?
Because if you have an injury, he may as well start and then come off. You cannot do it the other way round.
Christian Stuani comes in for him. Fernando Muslera in goal, playing in his 3rd World Cup, winning his 102nd cap. Funnily enough, just as Hugo Lloris is for France. Martin Cáceres at right back. Really solid, experienced centre-back pairing who play for Atletico Madrid. Attitude being thou shalt not pass. Jose Maria Jimenez and Diego Godin. Diego Laxalt is going to have a job on his hands at left back with Kylian Mbappe flying at him. Lucas Torreira of Sampdoria, little figure, will sit in front of the Uruguayan back 4. Nathan Nandez, Baby Rooney, as he's known, on his right-hand side. Mattia Vecino of Inter Milan on his left. 21-year-old Rodrigo Bentancur at the tip of the diamond, with Christian Stuani, formerly of Middlesbrough, trying to help Luis Suarez up front. Underway, Uruguay in the very familiar light blue shirts, black shorts, black socks, playing from left to right in the first half as we look at it, and France are all in dazzling white this afternoon, and I'll give you their team in just a second. World Cup quarter-finals underway on BBC Radio 5 Live here in Nizhny Novgorod, and France playing the ball inside their own half. And look at that, immediately Mbappe's on the run, tries to play the 1-2 with Griezmann. He left Lax out for dead there. Ball is fired up to Giroud. Kante, just inside the Uruguayan half, manages to turn and play the ball back to Samuel Umtiti. Tall, powerful central defender, plays his club football for Barcelona, knows Luis Suarez very, very well, has got to try and handle him this afternoon. Lloris in goal, all in yellow. Pavard at right back, Lucas Hernandez, another Atletico player, at left back. Varane and Umtiti are the 2 centre-backs. Kante, Tolisso, Pogba, Mbappe, Griezmann and Giroud up front. All French possession so far. I think we're going to be saying a lot of that this afternoon. Not raucous inside the stadium at the start of the game either. Here's Pogba on the ball. Low pass to Giroud. Tries to turn it into Tolisso, who was well forward. Kante gets onto the clearance. Swings a leg at it. The ball's high up in the air. Nodded forward by Nandez. And France have it again. Played wide to Griezmann. Number 7 on his back. Diego Godin, centre-back for Uruguay, godfather to his young daughter. Giroud's gone down off the ball and stayed down, holding his right leg. Play continues. The ref spotted it. He blows the whistle. Chris Sutton, I'm going to take you back to the first 30 seconds of the game. Mbappe against Laxalt. What did you make of that?
Yeah, and that tells you that is a key battle, a key head-to-head. You can see Mbappe fancies it. Left Laxalt for dead. Little turn. That burst of speed, just a coming together there. It's Jimenez and Giroud. That's going to be a good battle, Giroud against the Uruguayan centre-halves.
Either an accidental tread or
that old one,
or a subtle,
that old
purposeful
chestnut
tread. Well, bit of a storm in a teacup, or as they say in Russia,
they say a storm in a cup of tea.
Exactly, and that's very important. That is a big difference when we discuss that particular idiom. Well, no, not to us it isn't. But when we said to Ksenia that's the same thing, she said no. It has to be a storm in a cup of tea. 2.5 minutes played. Uruguay 0, France 0. The pitch is a bit patchy.
You got that the right way round.
Eventually, it is, isn't it? Yeah. Jimenez for Uruguay, floating the ball up the right-hand side towards Nandez. He's lost it. Tolisso plays it to Hernandez. Hernandez tackle, good strong challenge on him by Nandez.
They're going to be really competitive in that central area. Uruguay started with a diamond. And Stuani, he will just drift around and they'll leave Luis Suarez up top on his own.
Uruguay 0, France 0, and TT wins an easy free header. Here's Bentancur, the 21-year-old, who's put pressure on France there and enabled Luis Suarez to get his first touch of the afternoon. Floats the ball down the left-hand side, lacks out with a good bit of pace, takes on Pavard, beats him to it. Trying to play the ball into Bentancur, scuffs the shot all the way across the face of the box. Nandez back onto his left foot, curling cross, and the ball drops to Pogba, who swings a left boot and gratefully clears it for France. Giroud now battling for it on the halfway line. Caceres beats him and gets it back to the goalkeeper, Muslera.
Nervy defending from France. Sloppy pass initially, allowed Uruguay to break. There's a good ball from Suarez. Lacks out, getting forward, putting a cross in. I think it was Titi who missed it, took an air shot. Giovanni just wasn't alert enough.
Possibly just an early sign of nerves there in the French back four. Expectation on France. Uruguay obviously very, very capable opposition, but France starting as the slight favourites. Shame the referee didn't play advantage there. Nandez had played a nice little ball into Caceres, who was on the move, but the shrill blast tells you that the free kick's being given to Uruguay on the right-hand side. Uruguay 0, France 0, and we do expect, Chris Sutton, don't we, Uruguay not to want too much of the ball.
No, I think that their strength is how they are set up without the ball. They're so stingy at the back, don't concede many chances. That foundation, their success has been built on their defence. The manager, Tabira, said we have to count on our defence.
Suarez finds Stuani into the area, drives it across goal. Lloris had it covered. That won't even go out for a corner, actually, turning away from the byline. Well chased. And then Pavard in with a tackle on the right-hand side, and Uruguay get the throw. That was Martin Caceres, the right-back, chasing the ball down in the left wing position for Uruguay. Lacks out, gets ready to take the throw. 5 minutes played. These two teams have never met in a World Cup knockout game before. They've played in 3 group games before. Uruguay have won 1. The other 2 were draws. Pogba nods the ball down to Griezmann. Griezmann has lost it here, wins it back off Torreira. Now Bentancur, too quick for Griezmann there. Lacks out, starts to make a run. Got to be careful leaving Mbappe in space behind him, but he has it. Low ball in. Kante intercepts. Pavard plays it out the right back from the corner of the box. Griezmann loose with his pass, slides in to try and win the ball back. There's Kante. Uruguay right on top of France when they get on the ball in midfield. But this time they're able to come away on the right-hand side. And Mbappe gets the motor going. Skins one defender, step over, moves infield. Griezmann takes it off him. Low ball across the pitch to Lucas Hernandez. Up from deep, long way out. Shot comes in. Giroud takes a touch, can't turn and hit the shot. And lacks out, slides in to clear. Suarez wins a header, but can only nod it down to Pogba. He's got Pavard in space on the right-hand side. Uruguay 0, France 0. France in bright white. Pavard's 1-2 with Mbappe. To Griezmann, towards Giroud. Giroud stretches and wins it. And then low left-footed pass out to Mbappe. Looks up, gets his cross in. Headed away only as far as Hernandez. His first touch lets him down. Suarez is back to win it for Uruguay. Kante intercepts his pass forward. Caceres with a poor clearance. Falls at the feet of Griezmann via Tolisso. Right on the edge of the area. Little back heel from Griezmann. To Tolisso, now Kante. Kante opening play up. Swings a pass out to the right-hand side to find Pavard. Now Mbappe. Pogba moves outside him. Mbappe, all the confidence in the world, just dances with his feet over the ball, passes infield. Kante again, wide to Pavard. Pavard in towards Mbappe, can't find him, intercepted, and the ball is out for a France throw, which they're going to take quickly. 7 minutes played in the first half. Pavard thinks about a cross. He will put that in now to the near post. Godin is there, clears. It's another France throw. Chris Sutton.
And France, they have that physicality, don't they, of Olivier Giroud as a centre forward, so they can throw the ball in to the box. They're so compact, Uruguay, that back four. 2 midfielders screening in front, difficult to play through.
Very physical challenge in midfield there. Paul Pogba actually lost the ball to Stuani, and Pogba ended up rugby tackling to the floor and conceded a free kick, but again right on top of Pogba when he got in possession.
Yeah, and Pogba's actually started on the right hand side. I think of a diamond as well for France. Tolisso off to left with Kante at the bottom of the diamond, and Griezmann playing in behind Giroud.
Uruguay have only conceded one goal in the tournament so far. That was Pepe's header in the last 16 game against Portugal. Godin's free kick through the middle. Solid clearance from Umtiti. Jimenez steps forward. Half volley. Oh, France have let that bounce on the edge of their own penalty area. Umtiti leans over to win a header, and the free kick actually goes to Umtiti. He leant over the top of Stuani, nodded it away. Stuani went down, and France get the free kick. Dangerous to let that bounce.
Yeah, it was a surprise. I think it was Kante who let the ball bounce initially. Dealt with okay in the end.
Didier Deschamps' 81st match in charge of France today. The very first one was against Uruguay in a friendly back in August 2012. Have a guess at the score, Chris?
0-0?
Yes, it was. 4 of the last 5 games between these two nations have ended 0-0. And the other ones...
Well, what does that mean?
Storing the goals up for today. We're due. Exactly. Always positive, Chris. That's what I've learned from travelling around Russia with you. Griezmann, left-hand side, little 1-2 with Hernandez. Oh, Stuani was in late and fast and hard, and actually Hernandez has given it the Neymar roll, and he's flipped over 4 times and rolled into the shins of Nandez and brought him down as well, but that was a foul.
Yeah, extremely late. I tell you what, he should go in the book for that. 1 card all tournament. It's a poor challenge, it really was. You know, we talked about the card count and, you know, had Uruguay changed. They're in a battle, they're in a scrap, they want to go through this afternoon. They're going to be extremely physical with the French.
I thought you'd stolen my pen there, I couldn't find it, but then I realised you got your pencil case here, so we're okay, there's plenty in there. It's like the schoolboy's desk here in the Nizhny Novgorod Stadium. Uruguay 0, France 0, deserved free kick for France. And Chris is absolutely right, just 1 yellow card for Uruguay in the tournament so far. That went to Bentancur against Russia. Whistle blows, Griezmann dummies his run, then approaches the ball, whips it in with his left foot to the far post. It's headed up in the air, and that was, I think, Varane who got the touch on it. It's gone behind for the goal kick. So 10 minutes in, 0-0, and pretty even, would you say?
Yeah, I think as expected, I thought France would have the majority of the territory and possession, but Uruguay, they're so difficult to break down and beat. That free kick from Griezmann, watching him in the tunnel before the game, all hugs and kisses and cuddles. We're not having that, are we, Ali?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure if I was in his team, and I know the relationship with the Atletico Madrid players and Diego Godin, his godfather to his daughter, but it just seems, he'll be trying his all for France, it just seems too friendly to me.
Got to be best of enemies, not best of friends.
Yeah, exactly. Mbappe now gets past Laxalt again. Here he goes, steps on the burners. He was dragged back there, and gets the free kick. It was Vecino who pulled him back. Chris, this is exactly what we saw against Argentina. They can't handle him.
No, and he has looked unplayable the first few minutes. As soon as he gets on the half-turn, his first thought, I'm going to drive.
France getting the ball to him from the short free kick as well. 12 minutes played. Uruguay 0, France 0. Varane with a right-footed ball to Pavard, who scored that wonder goal against Argentina. Mop of curly hair for the right-back as he comes forward. Pogba's cross into the area, bounces once. Cáceres heads it sideways. Laxalt with a desperate clearance. Kante's there, tries to get his shot away. Griezmann chases back, slides in. But Nandez brings it away for Uruguay. Umtiti in fast on Suarez, who thinks he was fouled. Referee took his time over the decision there.
Yeah, the problem is he always chucks himself to the floor, Suarez.
Blew his whistle, had a think about it, but now he's calling Suarez over and saying, listen, don't have a go at me.
And he's absolutely right, because, you know, whether it was a foul or not, I think it was. GT came through the back, a teammate, no friends there.
No.
Did bring him down, but then you have the theatrics, the rolls. Need to cut that out. Strong refereeing, good refereeing. Let him referee the game.
12 minutes played. Uruguayan fans, loudest they've been so far, twirling the scarves and the flags away to our left-hand side. Umtiti with a clearance from the edge of his own 6-yard penalty area, left-footed, just hoofs it out of play. Uruguay 0, France 0. And actually, whatever the score today, there's drama, because we're talking about playing for a place in the World Cup semi-finals. France winners in 1998, Uruguay winners 1930 and 1950, semi-finalists themselves back in 2010 when they lost to Holland. They won a corner here, their first of the game. Trotting over to take that is the little fella. Always big on the little fellas, me, Chris. Lucas Torreira, 5'6" he is. I'm 2 inches taller than him.
You're not.
I am. And Torreira gets ready to take
You're
it.
5'5". But this is where they're dangerous. Uruguay. Jimenez forward.
Hulk.
Good in the air. Godin.
Clutch of light blue and white shirts making runs inside the penalty area. Goes deep to the far post. Nodding down by Jimenez. Lloris leaps forward, punches it away. Griezmann swings a left boot and clears. Bentancur, that's a loose pass forward. Kante just knew where that was going, was in the right spot. Bentancur gets it back from the clearance, and then he is tugged and fouled, and Uruguay get a free kick.
I tell you what, good goalkeeping from Lloris. It's a powerful header. Ball whipped right-footed into the back post. I think it's Jimenez who gets up, heads it back across or towards the goal, and Stuani not far away. Lloris anticipates well, gets his fists on the ball, and away to safety.
Free kick for Uruguay. Stuani is in for Cavani. Christian Stuani, 31 years old, playing in his second World Cup and coming off a good season for Girona in La Liga as well. Whistle blows. Free kick into the French penalty area. Not enough height or distance. Giroud heads it away. Volley back into the box. Will bounce in front of Lloris, and he takes every single care in the world there and just backpedals, catches it cleanly and bowls it out overarm to Pavard on the right-hand side. Looking for Mbappe, finds Mbappe, nutmeg from Mbappe. 3 light blue shirts close around him, but he gets away from all of them. Pogba just nonchalantly floats a ball from his right foot, from right to left. Hernandez infield to Tolisso. Tolisso in for the suspended Matuidi in this game. Pavard controls it on his chest. Lofts across into the penalty area. Giroud nods it to Mbappe, and Mbappe's header just floats over the bar, and he was up early, Mbappe, and he couldn't get enough on it or over the ball to get the header down.
Now, we've talked him up, but that was a golden opportunity. Kylian Mbappe had all the time in the world. Loops his header over the bar. It's across on the right-hand side. Giroud knocks it back, and Mbappe, as the ball's looping back to him, just had to look around, have that awareness, and he jumps too early, mistimes his header. What an opportunity for France.
Quarter of an hour gone in the first World Cup quarter-final of Russia 2018. BBC Radio 5 Live. We're also on the BBC World Service across Africa, I believe, for all 4 quarter-finals over the next couple of days. So welcome to you, wherever you're listening. We are 250 miles east of Moscow here in Nizhny Novgorod, on the banks of the rivers Volga and Oka. 45,000 capacity stadium. Very tight, tense World Cup quarter-final playing out in front of us. You do get the feeling this one really might go all the way to the shootout. Last game here was a shootout actually between Croatia and Denmark. Bentancur looking for Stuani, lays it off to Cáceres, who's keen to get forward for Uruguay early on. Hernandez has made a mistake trying to let the ball run out of play. Cáceres is there, gets his cross in. Stuani takes a touch, blocked by Umtiti. Oh, Umtiti did well, plays the ball on the floor, finds Tolisso, and Hernandez clears. That's blocked by Bentancur, and it's behind for the goal kick to France. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, it's half an opportunity that for Uruguay. Sloppy defending from France. They look slightly nervous at the back, they do. Ponderous, but there's no time. They're not allowed time to get their heads up and play.
Centre-backs for France in white split there, go either side of the penalty area, but Uruguay keep 3 up to press. So Lloris is not able to do that. It's all about protecting the gates, Chris. That's what we learned the other day, didn't we? Another lovely turn of phrase. Talking about the Russian team defending their goal. It's about protecting the gates. And that's what Uruguay are very, very good at. Throw in for France. On the left, Hernandez to Tolisso, gives it back to him. What's another strong one? Again, was that Stuani? Again, it was. Stuani comes in on Hernandez. That's 2 on the same player. Free kick.
I think he's been extremely lenient.
It's a throw-in. He's not even given the free kick. Ball's given away here to Suarez, just up by the halfway line. Nice little layoff to Mattia Vecino, who is the most experienced of Uruguay's midfield quartet. Very young midfield they've got. Oh, and that's a poor pass from Jimenez. Misses Godin, and the ball is out for a French throw, attacking position on the right-hand side. Griezmann goes jogging over to take it, receives the ball, throws it quickly to Mbappe, back to Griezmann. Giroud's lurking in the middle. Tolisso's just making a steady run forward up the left-hand side. Real sort of chess match feel to this at the moment. tactical battle. Tolisso on the left for France. Hernandez outside him, 40 yards from goal. Pacey pass to Giroud, laid off to Tolisso. Tolisso, right-footed ball. Pogba, long way out, hits the shot, miles wide and way too high, behind for the goal kick.
Yeah, it wasn't set, Pogba, as the ball's popped to him. He took a heavy first touch, was off balance anyway, 35 yards out. But Uruguay are doing what they do best. They are frustrating the opposition.
All right, second ball on the pitch. Let's get rid of that. Brazil-Belgium, 7 o'clock tonight, by the way. Don't forget that. Full commentary from Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin. And tomorrow, 5 Live Sport on air from 11 o'clock. 4 hours of build-up. Chris Sutton, 4 hours for Sweden, England. England's first World Cup quarter-final appearance since 2006, when they lost to Portugal on penalties. The winners of that will face either the host nation Russia or Croatia. We've got that game in full from 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Ball is back in play here in Nizhny Novgorod, and it's nodded out of play for a throw into France midway inside their own half. Hernandez, the left back, up towards Giroud, chested down, flicked up in the air, flicked onto Tolisso, headed infield to Griezmann, tries to swing it first time to his right, miscued, lacks out, intercepts. Kante runs in to win a header for France. Varane comes scurrying across and plays it to Pavard. Pavard chips one infield. Torreira wins the header. Kante reads it beautifully again, runs in, knocks the ball down, gives it to Giroud, played back to the halfway line, and here's Tolisso. Tolisso and Kante with a little 1-2. 19 minutes played in the first half. Uruguay 0, France 0. I think Kante would be another one in my team of the tournament so far, along with Mbappe. Here's Pogba onto Griezmann, looks for Mbappe, lays it back to Griezmann. Lovely from France, flick to Mbappe, didn't quite find him. That was building up very, very nicely. Pogba's got to chase back against Juan. He stretches out one of those long legs, wins the ball, concedes the throw.
It's better from France, better from Griezmann. A couple of really cute touches around the corner into Giroud. Just that final pass breaking down.
Having Kante in that team, I know we haven't done a team of the tournament, but would you have that? Springing it on you?
Give me a minute.
Okay. You're trying to find another one, aren't you, just for the sake of finding another one? Uruguay 0,
yeah.
France 0, exactly. Well won by Griezmann. Mbappe with a chance to run, but he's going to slide it forward to Giroud. Giroud against Jimenez. Giroud lays the ball off to Hernandez. Hernandez leaves it for Tolisso. The momentum in the counter-attack is slightly stalled. Pogba, nice bit of skill, onto that right foot, flick round the corner for Griezmann, couldn't get onto it. Again, Uruguay's defenders there just in time. Varane nods it sideways to Pavard, back onto Pogba. Pogba asking Pavard to chase it down to the byline. Good sliding challenge on him from Vecino, and France win a corner. That might be their first of the half,
I think it isn't. I thought Pogba had a really strong game, good game against Argentina. That was a nice pass, slide rule pass inside the left back. Well defended. A chance for France now to load the ball in. It's going to be a left-footed in-swinger from Griezmann.
The only goal Uruguay have conceded in the tournament so far was from a set piece. It was Godin, actually, who lost his man, lost Pepe. Uruguay 0, France 0. Right, we're going to have another stoppage here, and the referee, I mean, this has been a blight on the tournament, really, the pulling and the tugging and the shirt holding and the rugby tackling at the set pieces. So again, our referee's in there saying, I'm not having any of that, and he's really keeping a close eye on it. Griezmann whips the corner in, headed away by Suarez. Kante on the volley, plays it back into the box. I thought he was going for the shot, he went for the pass. Cleared again. Hernandez, that's just a massive up and under. Muslera's there, all on his own, all in red, the Uruguayan keeper. Makes good catch both hands. That's what you call
a hoof. Where I come from.
Yeah, a Gary Owen in rugby parlance. Muslera, all in red. We get a close-up shot of Oscar Tabarez, the Uruguayan manager, slightly slouched in his chair, 71 years old. Second spell in charge of the national team. Been in charge since 2006, so 12 years, won the Copa America for them in 2011 and took them to the World Cup semi-finals in 2010. Trying to do that again this afternoon. Uruguayan fans baying inside the Nizhny Novgorod stadium at the moment. Loose pass out from Umtiti, diagonal ball.
Yeah, I think they're looking for that quick switch from left to right, Get the ball to Mbappe. That's the plan.
Pavard was clattered by Suarez there. Pavard was just letting the ball run out of play, put his body in the way. Suarez,
you can't do that.
What?
I mean, the ball's going out of play. He's not going to win the ball, and he just barges into Pavard.
Well, I would argue that Pavard's in the way of the ball. He's trying to get there, and it's a man's game.
You would argue wrongly.
Okay.
The ball was going out. There's a misjudgment, poor challenge. Dear me.
What, Suarez or me?
Both.
Uruguay 0.
I don't know who's worse.
Uruguay 0, France 0. Imagine Luis Suarez could probably operate a hotel lift. I'll give him that credit, which I struggled to do this morning. Pogba goes down, wins another free kick. We don't want this to get bitty and...
Well, yeah, but what did we expect there? But Uruguay have had it all their own way during the group stages, to some extent, given a game by Portugal. They're not going to let the talented France team play and give them time on the ball. They're going to get up to them.
That's exactly what I was just saying about Suarez.
Yeah, but that was a foul. There is a difference.
24 minutes played. Uruguay 0, France 0. Floated towards Giroud. Stretches acrobatically to keep the ball in play. Holding off Laxalt with the dreadlocked hair. Back to Pogba. Lost the ball underneath his feet. Tackled heavily again in midfield. That's a fair one, though. Nandez under a bit of pressure for Uruguay. They play out from the back. And here's Cáceres on the right-hand side, and the ball rolled under his boot. You've
got to love the Uruguayans in the middle of the park. Hustle, bustle, energy, youthfulness.
Yeah, I completely agree, Chris.
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
I know you like, your beautiful football, silver spoon football.
Varane, wide to Pavard. Pavard down the inside right channel for Giroud. Look at Godin, right next to him, breathing down his neck, not letting him have an inch of space. Knocks the ball out for a throw to France. Lots and lots of French possession. Here they are again. Varane thought about switching that to the right. He's got the ball just inside the Uruguayan half. Low pass to Mbappe. Mbappe speeds away from Laxalt. Again, those blue shirts close around him. He gets his pass away. Pavard outside of the right boot to Kante. Kante side foots one to Pogba on the right. Pogba is going to go for the diagonal now, and look at the chase from Nandez here, coming into Hernandez, who saw him coming and actually slightly miscontrolled and almost lost the ball. Nandez against Hernandez, both leaning into each other. Hernandez keeps it for France, plays it back to Umtiti. Umtiti, oh, that was nice, saw Stuani coming, drew him in, dragged the ball away, gives it to Kante. Kante brings it forward onto Tolisso, quickly onto Griezmann. Space here for Griezmann, 30 yards out, toes it forward to the right and finds Mbappe. Bit of skill from Mbappe into the box. Laxalt does well this time, really well, gets the ball, knocks it behind for a corner.
He did do exceptionally well, Laxalt. Not a natural position, that left back roll, but Mbappe faced him up, pushed the ball past him, looked like he's got get his body in. But Laxalt, to his credit, did well, turned it behind for a corner.
26 minutes played in the first half. Griezmann wants to go short. Referee says, come on, get on with it. Mbappe plays it back to Griezmann. Low cross in. Suarez stretches to clear. Kante's there in the centre circle in glorious isolation. No one anywhere near him. Smallest man on the pitch. Plays it to Hernandez. Tolisso. That's a good ball in. Ooh, and Muslera was coming, and Jimenez took it away from him. Jumped in and won the header. Pogba nods it up in the air. Powerful header forward by Stuani. Kante there again. Absolutely fired that pass at Hernandez and missed him, and the ball is out for the Uruguayan throw. Uruguay have won all 4 matches at this World Cup so far, and when they won their first 4 matches in the very first World Cup in 1930, they won the tournament. That was enough.
Is that a sign then? Uruguay have won it then?
No. 3 wins to go, as it is for England. They play Sweden tomorrow, as it is for all of them. Sweden as well. Brazil, Belgium tonight. Full commentary, BBC Radio 5 Live. And the ball bounces here for Griezmann to win a little header, looking for Mbappe. Laxalt with a desperate clearance. Pogba's onto it and then knocks one through the middle, and slight miscommunication between him and Griezmann ends up with the goalkeeper.
He took the wrong option because Mbappe had peeled wide to the right-hand side, and that pass was on. Tried the more difficult pass, the intricate pass into Griezmann. Got that one badly wrong.
Uruguay 0, France 0. Bentancur, bright yellow boots, tall 6'1" midfielder, plays his club football for Juventus. Giroud, also tall, stretches to win a nice ball for France. Griezmann in the turquoise boots, onto it, turns and rolls a pass across the halfway line to Pavard. Pavard wide to Pogba here. Pogba's cross in towards the near post, almost found Giroud. He was being covered.
Good defending on Jimenez. Giroud just got that half yard on Jimenez. Ball whipped in on the right-hand touchline. Used his body to ease Giroud out.
Just over 15 minutes left in the first half. I don't think anyone coming to this stadium this afternoon, the Uruguayan fans or the French fans, would have expected anything different to this.
That's a game of chess, isn't it?
Exactly. Ball thumps into Suarez's chest, headed forward by Nandes. Stuani now chests it down and plays it back to Cáceres. Suarez lays it off here. Bentancur, and the run was made by Vecino in from the left-hand side, and Bentancur's chased his own pass here, done brilliantly until Pavard nips in and wins it. Mbappe on the turn. Pavard keeps going down the right, but France want to go left here, and Tolisso has to stretch to control that on his chest. He's done well. Bringing the ball slowly forward for France. Right-footed pass finds Kante. Kante on to Pogba. Pogba sees Griezmann coming towards him, gives it to Griezmann. Griezmann with a little give and go with Pavard. Griezmann's over wide on the right wing now, and Mbappe has it at his feet. This is at walking pace. Pogba wide right.
When France have to move the ball quicker though, taking that extra touch there. Pogba 3 touches. Kante, that's too slow, and it allows Uruguay to get back in position.
Griezmann trying to speed things up here. Giroud waiting on the edge of the penalty area. Uruguayan fans just booing the possession by France here. Pavard's cross is in, gets a touch, almost runs through to Tolisso, just went right across him there. He wasn't expecting it, couldn't stretch, and Cáceres brings it away for Uruguay. Pass forward deflected.
He's done well, Cáceres. I think it's the 3rd time he's got himself in a really good position on the far post, made timely challenges.
He started the tournament, Chris, at left back for the first 2 games, and Guillermo Varela, who once played his football for Manchester United, at right back. Laxout's now coming at left back. Cáceres at right back. I mean, Cáceres is a guy who's played for the likes of Barcelona and Juventus. He's just had dreadful injury problems.
In Southampton.
And Southampton. I think he only made 1 appearance. He's going to shoot here from a long, long way out.
Come on, what's he doing?
From the halfway line. He's trying to be a hero.
Well,
and it's behind for a goal kick.
You don't shoot when the goalkeeper's on his line, from the halfway line. Well, you might.
Ran out of ideas. I don't think my shot would reach. I don't think I could kick the ball that far, Chris, to be honest.
I'd agree with that.
Lloris getting ready to take the goal kick. 15 minutes left in the first half. Probably heard a good meaty thwack of boot on ball there. Headers won by Nandes, beating Tolisso. Griezmann gets onto the loose ball in the centre circle, and Mbappe tries to turn. Torreira tackles him, and Uruguay have it again with Jimenez deep inside their own half. Vecino, he's giving it away. Tolisso to Pogba. Kante's ball thumps into the referee, and that works out for Uruguay quite nicely, because it's with Nandes on the right-hand side. Asks Stuani to run here into space. Hernandez is with him. Stuani goes down, and Uruguay get the free kick.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's had a good start to the game. Lucas Torreira enjoyed his quote yesterday. This country is very small, but it has a huge heart. Couldn't have put it any better.
5'6" tall. I like that from Torreira. Wimbledon coverage, by the way, continuing on Sports Extra, BBC Television and the BBC Sport website if you want some of that. Day 5 of Wimbledon, first quarter-final here of the World Cup. Hugo Lloris has the ball in his arms. If it does come to penalty shootout in the end, Chris, we've got 2 goalkeepers here who both winning their 102nd caps today. Giroud flicks on towards Griezmann, nods it down wide.
Are you going for a penalty shootout?
I'm just saying it's possible. Oh, that's a foul. That's a shirt tug from Hernandez on Nandes. Now Hernandez, who's had 2 challenges on him that could have got yellow cards, wins the first yellow card. That will frustrate him, but that was a yellow, wasn't it?
Yep, absolutely a yellow, clear tug. Nandes was away down the right-hand side.
We've got Nandes against Hernandez down that right-hand side for Uruguay. By the way, French players on a booking that could see them miss a semi-final. The right-back Pavard, Tolisso, although Matuidi would be back for the semi-final if they get there, Pogba and Giroud. And we're having a shirt change here as well for one of the Uruguayan players. Bentancur is the only Uruguayan player on the yellow card. And then we get the yellow card amnesty, by the way, for people who don't know. So we start from scratch again, which would mean if you pick up a single yellow in a semi-final, that's not going to be added to one earlier in the tournament, so you wouldn't then miss the final. But obviously if you got sent off in the semi-final, you would. 12 minutes left in the first half. Free kick from Torreira into the French penalty area, headed on by Jimenez, but only behind him, and out for the goal kick. No, all I was saying, Chris, about the penalties is I feel this is one goal in it today, that, you know, it's either going to be a 1-0, you know, it's just going to be very, very close.
Yeah,
that's the point I'm
extremely
trying to make.
negative. The first goal, so important. And if Uruguay get the first goal, I take your point. But if France get the first goal, end to end.
Okay.
Just you wait.
Chris Sutton with us on BBC Radio 5 Live at the World Cup. Also on the BBC World Service here, watching Uruguay 0, France 0. Header won by Vecino for Uruguay. Varane powers his header forward. Giroud chests it down. Pavard gives it to Pogba. Mbappe starts a run. Pogba's looking for him. Mbappe's got the pace to get there on the right. No one in the middle for him. Muslera misses the cross, but Griezmann, he was edge of the box, nowhere near it to stick it away.
Well, I tell you what, Griezmann and Giroud had time. Break your neck, get in the box. Lovely pass from Pogba, releasing Mbappe. Left Laxalt for dead down that right-hand side. And the cross from the byline, put across goal, 8 yards out, no takers.
The cross, Chris, was absolutely perfect, wasn't it? Because Muslera had to go for it, stretched fully, couldn't get there, strikers there, empty net.
And do you know what? It's just lazy, which is unforgivable.
Ball played forward to Luis Suarez, who definitely is not lazy, not really been able to get into this game in a creative sense so far, but as we know, he'll only need that one sniff, that one chance. Here he is on the right hand side. Could this be it? Gets his cross in towards the far post, headed away by Pavard. Cáceres is there, nods it down, chests it down, Stuani shoots, and Lloris saves comfortably at his near post.
Not an easy chance for Stuani as the ball's headed to him on the edge of the box, right hand side, just pulls his shot on the half turn into the arms of Lloris.
Beg your pardon, I think that might have been Vecino who hit the shot, but it was certainly Lloris who made the save. And if I was getting that one wrong, we really would be in trouble. 10 minutes left in the first half. Uruguay 0, France 0. Giroud jumps to try and win a header. It's just beyond him. And guess who was right behind him, following his every move? Diego Godin. Uruguay attacking down the right-hand side with Nandes. Nandes ignores Suarez. Terrible ball into Stuani. Tried to control it. Managed to get a foot on it, but couldn't do much more. Griezmann is deep for France. Plays it across to Pavard. Pavard towards Mbappe. Back to Pogba. And all the way back to Varane. Kante on his own in the centre circle. Looks up and bobbles a pass across to Lucas Hernandez. Tolisso. Kante. All of this 10 yards inside the Uruguayan half. Tolisso now to Griezmann. Griezmann fires a pass left to Lucas Hernandez. Steps inside Cáceres. Low pass to Griezmann. Little flick looking for Giroud. Intercepted on the edge of the penalty area, and Bentancur is here for Uruguay. Nandes inside his own half, up towards Suarez, and Titi jumps with him. It went over Suarez. Stuani, though, has played the ball to the right to try and find the run of Cáceres. It's beyond him, and out for a throw into France.
I think that was that a good advantage, or was no free kick going to be given?
What, for Titi jumping over Suarez? I think that was a good advantage, because if he'd played the ball correctly to Cáceres, and Uruguay might have had a sniff.
All Griezmann's little flicks and touches aren't coming off at present for France.
Suarez chasing hard here with France on the ball inside their own half. Suarez without his wingman Edinson Cavani. Cavani, who did it in South American qualifying without Suarez. Suarez has turned a step up today. Here's Kante for France, though. Uruguay with defending to do late in the first half. Hernandez to Tolisso. Tolisso immediately shut down on the edge of the penalty area. The ball is played back to Pogba. Pogba and Griezmann with 2-1-2s. Back to Pogba again, just outside the area, wide to Mbappe. Mbappe looks up, gets his cross blocked by Laxalt, who closed the ground between him and Mbappe very quickly. But now it's with Pogba. Pogba slides a pass there to Pavard. Now Mbappe into the area, brilliantly read by Torreira. Saw the danger, nipped in and took the ball off his toes.
He's been the best player, I think, this first half. That screening job he's done in front of the Uruguayan back four, he's everywhere.
Bentancur under pressure, he's lost it and he's fouled Tolisso, and that's a free kick for France, 25 yards out. And Bentancur, if Uruguay make it through to the semis, is out of the game.
And he just gets caught, doesn't know where Tolisso is. He nicks the ball off him, and that's a really poor challenge from Bentancur. This is an opportunity, you'd think, for France. He's sort of 25, 28 yards out, right-hand side of the box.
Early in the game against Argentina that we saw, Chris, they had a free kick more centrally from this sort of range, and Griezmann rattled the bar, didn't he?
Yep.
So you fancy it might well be Griezmann again, and Griezmann is shouting all the way down the pitch here, 60 yards down the pitch to Hugo Lloris. I'm not quite sure what that conversation's about. Tolisso's getting ready to pick himself up. 7 minutes left in the first half. Uruguay 0, France 0.
It's a bad challenge. He absolutely wipes him out. Bentancur goes to ground.
Was it a poor first touch, I've lost the ball, desperation, you know?
Yeah, he was unaware.
Yeah. 6 minutes left in the first half. Uruguayan drums you can hear beating in the background here in Nizhny Novgorod. Antoine Griezmann rubs his hair with both hands, has had a long time to think about this. Nice angle for the left footer, long way out, and Muslera is standing a couple of yards off his line, all in red, waiting for the delivery. Griezmann with his hands on hips. 2 goals already at this World Cup, both of them penalties. Dummies a run, then curls the ball into the penalty area. Oh, and it's headed in by Rafael Varane, and France have the lead in the quarter-final. Uruguay weren't sure whether Griezmann was going to cross or shoot. The cross was inch perfect. Varane was there. It's Uruguay 0, France 1.
A real quality from Griezmann. Has a little run up and then stops his run, checks his run, goes back, and then he whips a tantalising ball in around the penalty spot, left-footed, and Varane does well, gets across the Uruguayan defender, flicks his header into the far corner of the net. It's a brilliant, brilliant header. Uses the pace of the ball from Griezmann. It's where all the pace is. The keeper absolutely no chance. Now we've got a game on.
Brilliant cross, brilliant header, just glancing. He was jumping with Stuani and he beat him, Chris, by a split second, didn't he? Just got to the ball first.
It's all about the timing of the run, but the quality of the ball, that has to be there as well. You don't want to have to generate your own power on the ball from that range.
Uruguay 0, France 1. Uruguay with it all to do. The nation of just over 3 million people. The underdogs in this game. In fact, I can see one of the flags there, which I am translating as 3 millions of dreams. I could be getting that completely wrong.
Yep, you probably are.
But those dreams are hanging in the balance right now. Rafael Varane with his first World Cup goal. Missed Euro 2016 with a hamstring injury. Wonderful flicked header, and now he's back there defending. Ball into the French penalty area. Umtiti nods it up in the air. Stuani's underneath it. Hernandez goes down holding his face. He was trying to get round Stuani. Stuani then walks into him. As
I
Hernandez
thought that was
down.
accidental.
No, that was
Stuani when he walked into him. But Uruguay, the 2 goals they've conceded in the tournament, set pieces. They pride themselves on defending.
They've got an attacking set piece now to try and get back in the game. Torreira takes it with his right foot, an away swinger. Pavard nods it away. Nandez gets their first left-footed strike straight at Lloris. Good hit, but easy save.
Good strike. Doesn't really get the power to trouble Lloris. It's 25 yards out. Difficult technique, left-footed. Easy save. But now Uruguay, they've got the problem now. You know, while it's still 0-0, they can sit in and defend. At some stage, they're going to have to change tact.
No Cavani today, don't forget that, which obviously massive blow to them. Trailing 1-0. Kante, nice little touch and a flick to Tolisso. Tolisso, who was fouled, of course, for the free kick that has led to the French goal. And it all actually led from Bentancur's miscontrol and then the desperate challenge. Caceres, tackled by Kante, fouled by Kante, free kick 40 yards out. Uruguay 0, France 1.
Caceres just getting his body in. When he was released, I think it was Suarez who knocked the ball down. Kante committed to the challenge. And can Uruguay get a good delivery into the box?
Late in the first half, First quarter-final of the World Cup on 5 Live and on the World Service across Africa. France are ahead. Didier Deschamps, their coach, trying to become only the third man to win the World Cup as a player and coach. But France have a free kick to defend. Into their penalty area it comes. Oh, Lloris, brilliant save, and Godin cannot convert the rebound. Lloris at full stretch there to stop the header going in the bottom corner. Wonderful save from the French keeper. I think it's Caceres who gets up, gets the header, directs it beautifully, and Lloris throws himself to his right, and they just couldn't convert the rebound. So close to the equaliser.
That save of the tournament. It's absolutely brilliant from Lloris. That's as good as a goal. It's a wonderful header from Caceres. And Lloris, full stretch, right hand. He's got no right to save it. Touches it onto the post. And Godin misses the rebound. Tough angle. The angle was against him.
Got there first though, didn't he? I mean, that was a feasible chance of sticking that in the back of the net. It came at him very fast. He had to get there quickly, and as you say, he couldn't get it from the angle. But well, Hugo Lloris really has come to the party for France there. Uruguay 0, France 1. Still plenty of time for Uruguay to try and get back into this game. Minute short of half-time in Nizhny Novgorod. Griezmann, back to Hernandez.
Well, I tell you, he's got to be careful.
He's caught Stuani. He's on a yellow as well, Hernandez. That was accidental, wasn't it?
Well,
he missed the ball and kicked the man. I'm not sure he saw Stuani coming.
But he's not going to get away with too many more of them.
Last minute of the first half. France leading 1-0. Hernandez with the throw. Giroud trying to hold off Caceres. And that is getting feisty. That was arm. Well, it's, they pick each other up off the floor, but that was proper centre forward, centre back, leaning into each other.
I thought Caceres was a little bit naughty there, chucking himself into Giroud.
How much added time are we going to get at the end of this first half? Fourth official is on his way, and he's going to tell us 2 minutes of added time. Uruguay 0, France 1. Muslera with his right foot clears downfield, and Titi jumps to try and win the header. Free kick goes against him. There's been a lot of that between Titi and Suarez. He's come over the back of Suarez, he's hurt himself, but the free kick's gone Uruguay's way.
He uses his body so well, doesn't he? Backs in, scraps for the ball. But have a bit of faith, Ali. You thought it was going to be 0-0 and penalties, didn't you, at 15 minutes ago?
I said that was a possibility. If you have a look in our predictions league, Chris, I've actually gone for 1-0 France, which is what the score is at the moment. Free kick for Uruguay. Looking for an equaliser here. Right at the end of the first half. Another ball curled into the French penalty area, headed away. Caceres will chase it out of the box. On the turn, left-footed ball back into the box. Pogba, good powerful header away. Could be danger here if Mbappe gets it. He didn't. Bentancur, his floated ball takes a slight deflection. Suarez's header towards the far post. Godin attacks it. Cleared again, this time by Giroud, who's happy just to wallop it forward. But look who's there again chasing. Mbappe, putting Nandez under pressure. Nandez again just very agricultural hoof downfield. Pavard nods it away on the bounce. Pavard's got to chase the header from Vecino, which is actually going to run out of play. And that goes out for a throw into France, who are going to slow things down.
Actually defended those situations very well. Set pieces, France. First Giroud going back, heading the ball clear. Then I think it was Pogba. Because Uruguay do look a threat.
Pogba on the turn is tackled. Another throw in for France. 20 seconds to play in the first half. Just looking to coast in here until half-time and really take a firm grip on this game. Raphael Varane with the header from Antoine Griezmann's free kick. Throw in towards Griezmann, went over his head. The ball is high in midfield, nodded down by Bentancur. Suarez plays it back to Nandez, looking for Suarez again, 30 yards out. Suarez on the dribble. Kante just eases him off it. Griezmann trying to come away with the ball, and that is that for the first half. France leading 1-0 through Raphael Varane's header in the 40th minute, but some late pressure from Uruguay and one brilliant save from Hugo Lloris, Chris Sutton, suggests that this game is not over, and the underdogs, your beloved underdogs, are still in it.
Yeah, they are still in it. A game of set pieces, really. Brilliant header from Varane, wonderful delivery from Griezmann, but that save from Hugo Lloris kept France ahead at the break.
Brilliant from Lloris. He's just taken the gloves off at the moment. He is going to get a lot of pats on the back in the French dressing room at half-time. Half-time in Nizhny Novgorod is Uruguay 0, France 1.
Let's deal with the goal first. That was a lovely header, Chris Sutton. Yes, it was. Really good movement. He met the cross or the free kick from Griezmann at the right time. He knows exactly what he's trying to do. The pace is all on the ball, just trying to get the right connection. And is really accurate with the header. And that was un-Uruguayan-like, if you like. I say that the only other goal they've conceded in the tournament was a Pepe header for Portugal. But I think Uruguay will be bitterly disappointed with that. But in all fairness, I think that's what the game needed, a goal.
That is called stepping on the same rake in Russia. If you make the same mistake again and again. That's what Uruguay have done. Conceded 2 goals from set pieces. They've been stepping on the same rake.
There you go. Write that down, Mark. I've written them all down over the course of the weeks. How many have you got left before the end of this game? One.
That's it, yeah.
Have you saved the best till last, or is it going to be a crushing disappointment?
No, I tell you, we're going to have real problems if we go to extra time.
Tim Vickery is still with us. I think until the goal, your feeling was that they were winning. Oh, I'm just seeing a TV replay of Hugo Lloris swallowing that bug as well that flew into his mouth. That's horrible. He managed to spit it out before the whole thing went in. I think before the goal went in, your feeling, Tim, was that Uruguay were winning 0-0.
That's right, yeah. I think they were very happy to win 0-0. They will be furious with the goal, not just for the way that they defended the set piece, but for the fact that the set piece happened. Second yellow card of the tournament, both to the same player, Bentancur, who won't play the semi-final if they manage to turn this one round. But a rash challenge, an ill-disciplined challenge. He dived in. He has a tendency to do that. That's why he's the only Uruguayan who's been booked so far. Keep your discipline. Don't give France opportunities to do that. And it's still 0-0. No panic stations, though, for Uruguay yet. I think they're devotees of the Church of Brian Clough. It only takes a second to score a goal. They're still well in the game. They've got options to bring on in the second half. I'll hope for the sake of Mr. Bruce Ball they don't go with Diri Azcárate or Ureta Vizcaya, because they will really complicate a man who's dedicated his life over the last few weeks to the study of Russian, not to a kind of Basque immigrant Spanish there in Uruguay. And I think we've still got an interesting second half in prospects. If you look at the shots on target stats, I think it's something like 4-1 to Uruguay. So although they've been on the back foot, they've managed to get some shots in there. Only one effort there really causing Lloris any problems. But I remember, when Tabárez took over in 2006, the idea was that all Uruguayan sides, all of them at all levels, were going to play 4-3-3. That's our identity. It lasted one competitive game. They lost 3-0 in the opener of the Copa America to Peru in 2007, and Peru just walked through them. And then Tabárez said, well, hang on a minute, reality's too strong for us. We can't do this. We're going to fight from a bunker. They do fight from a bunker. They reached the semi-final in 2010. Tabárez was delighted with the fact that in almost every game the opposition had more possession, Uruguay had more shots. So on the scraps of possession they'll have the second half, can they get enough shots in to trouble Hugo Lloris and bring themselves back into this match?
Tim Vickery with us on 5 Live. Chris Sutton and Alistair Bruce Ball, your commentary team in Nizhny Novgorod, where France lead Uruguay by 1-0 at half-time. Let's pause for the latest BBC News with Nick Qureshi.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet, this is BBC 5 Live.
A 16-year-old boy has appeared in court charged with the rape and murder of 6-year-old Alicia McPhail. She was found dead on the Isle of Bute on Monday. Ministers are locked in crunch Brexit talks at the Prime Minister's country residence. Theresa May says they have a duty to find an agreement on what sort of future relationship they want with the EU. The Cabinet is divided, particularly on the issue of trade. Peter Bone is a pro-Brexit Conservative MP.
What I want to see, if the question is should Brexit ministers resign, well, no, we want to see more Brexiteers in the Cabinet, not less. So I just don't think we're going to be in that position. I think we're going to get the Prime Minister's going to steam ahead with what she's already laid down as red lines, and we'll have to wait and see what actually comes out of the meeting.
Lancashire police have arrested a second man over the Moorland fire on Winter Hill near Bolton. The 20-year-old, who's from Wigan, was detained on suspicion of arson with intent to endanger life. Firefighters have been tackling the flames for more than a week. Police are trying to find the contaminated item which poisoned a couple in Wiltshire. Dawn Sturgis and Charlie Rowley were struck down by the nerve agent Novichok and remain critically ill. The substance was also used in the attack on the Skripals. Will Glennon is in Amesbury.
Public Health England are saying that the risk is low outside of those cordoned off areas, but what they can't say is that things are safe and people in the area are still very concerned. People in Amesbury are trying to go about their daily lives, but they are concerned.
An investigation has started after police files containing personal details of paedophiles and their victims were found dumped in a street on Teesside. The papers were discovered by a dog walker next to a skip in Hartlepool last month. The Cleveland Force has referred itself to the police watchdog. Supermarkets have recalled bags of frozen vegetables over fears they could contain a deadly bacteria. A number of products have been withdrawn by supplier Greenyard. Own brands for Tesco, Aldi and Sainsbury's are among those pulled from the shelves. And a bin lorry has sunk into a hole in a road after the asphalt melted. The street in Newbury gave way in the heat. West Berkshire Council says the road will stay closed over the weekend while it's repaired.
This is BBC 5 Live on digital, smart speaker, smartphone and tablet.
In travel, the M11 was blocked, but it's just reopened in Essex. It was on the southbound side, Junction 9 to Junction 8, Bishop Stortford, following an accident. The M2 in County Antrim, heading south, Junction 1 at Fort William roundabout. An accident has closed the motorway. The M56, long delays westbound, Junction 9 for the M6 at the Lim interchange. 2 lanes have been blocked after an accident. Those queues are backing up on the M56 to Junction 8 at Tatton. It's had a knock-on effect to the southbound M6, all the way back to Junction 21 at Woolston. There are long delays on the M6 northbound at 31A at Longridge, heading towards Junction 32 at the Broughton interchange. That's after an earlier breakdown, but it's left queues on the M61 as well. We've had long delays affecting you on the M6, but also through the West Midlands. It's looking heavy around Junction 6, north and southbound at Spaghetti Junction. The M25 queue's still there as well. Clockwise, it's queuing all the way from Junction 10 at the Wisley interchange up to Junction 16 for the M40. That's after an accident and a number of breakdowns. And the M5 has 2 lanes closed, Somerset heading north up to Clevedon at Junction 20. So 21 to 20. 2 lanes still closed there. Queues are back to 22 Burnham-on-Sea. It's also busy heading south. That's down from Bristol, heading towards Clevedon at 20. Order Merchant, 5 Live Travel.
This is 5 Live. More
Live Premier League football.
That's what it's like on Radio 5 Live.
than anyone else.
Shallow's through! Shallow's through for Liverpool! Lukaku finds the goal that he was looking for. More Premier League commentaries than anybody else.
More than any other UK broadcaster.
Right through the middle, and then a deflection, and then...
So Snupton, equalising goal for Vardy.
Dele Alli scores at St James's Park.
Pogba from the angle, what a delicate chip. Headed in by Sturridge. Harry Kane has done it again. What a Premier League season we've got for you here on BBC 5 Live.
The wait is almost over. This is your football station. This is 5 Live.
The FIFA World Cup.
Live from Russia. This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
France 1, Uruguay 0 at half-time. The second half on the way, but we can get an update from Wimbledon. First, here's Tony Livesey.
Cheers, chappers. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, Marion Bartoli, who won Wimbledon a few years ago, who's very proudly French, almost shot through the commentary box roof when they took the lead. She's supposed to be watching the tennis, David Law, because on the women's side, the big guns are out at a combined age of 74. The Williams sisters are in town.
They are, and having very different types of matches, because as Serena Williams took to the centre court for her match against Kiki Mladenovic, a French woman, and her sister Venus Williams was on the brink of defeat over on court number 1, but Venus, 38 years of age now and a finalist here last year, she dug deep, managed to break back against Kiki Bertens, who was serving for the match at 5-4, and Venus now into a tie-break in the second set, and she's 5-2 ahead, so it looks like she might take this into a third.
Oh, yeah, interestingly, Venus is the number 9 seed here on the women's side. Going into today, David, quite unprecedented. I think we've said it's 50 years since this last happened. Seeds 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 8 are all out, and now Venus wobbled a little bit. We can add the number 10 seed to that.
Yes, Madison Keys, a young American of whom a lot has been spoken over recent years. A lot of people thinking that maybe she's the person that's going to take the mantle on from the Williams sister eventually and win this title. And she was defeated today by a player ranked 120 in the world, a qualifier, Evgenia Radina, who our summariser Naomi Cavaday said Madison Keys had played some of the worst tennis she'd seen all tournament. She really struggled throughout, just about got into a third set, but eventually threw it away, and afterwards she said the occasion just became too much for her.
Honestly, I think today was a massive mishandle of nerves. I felt good, was up 5-2, and then I feel like I kind of felt my mind go away, and played a couple of sloppy games, and then all of a sudden it's 5-all, and that's when nerves hit me, and then it was just kind of dealing with that. And then, I mean, when you're down a set in 4-0, it's a lot easier to be like, I should probably play better now, and do that. And then in the third set, I mean, I think it was, you know, when I was down, I would bring my level up and then go up to serve and would get nervous and, you know, just didn't play well enough and when it mattered.
David, just briefly, is that a legitimate excuse?
I think it's pretty disappointing, to be honest. You know, yes, there is a lot of expectation. I think it shows just what an opportunity players like Madison Keys realise is there now that so many other top players have lost. But if you're going to make it, you've got to be able to handle those nerves. And suddenly, the Williams sisters being there, I mean, they have been there and done it. Maybe they can come through and do it again.
Just brief about the men. We talked about the carnage amongst the seeds on the women's side, and Sam Querrey's disappeared today.
Yeah, the man who beat Andy Murray at the quarter-final stage last year to reach the semis here, 11th seed, but he went out in 4 sets to the French player Gaël Monfils, who really uplifted the centre court crowd here. He seemed like he was in a rush, and when you consider that his nation was about to start the World Cup quarter-final, maybe that's why. And the first thing he did when he came off and won is he said, "What's the score?" They told him, he said, "This is a perfect day for me so far. I'd never been to the last 16 before." He then scheduled his press conference to fall exactly during half-time, so he's got his priorities right, and so Gaël Monfils a happy man right now.
Just before you go, David, a quick update on Serena. How's she doing on centre?
Yeah, she is in the first set against Kiki Mladenovic. It's very close at the moment, this one. First set, and it's 4-3 from Mladenovic in the first set.
And following Serena on centre court will be Roger Federer. Among our commentary team, as I said, Marion Bartley, if she calms down. Let's hope France win for all our sakes. That's it then from Wimbledon at the moment. Commentary continues over on 5 Live Sports Extra if you want to stick with the tennis. But for now, let's head back to Russia and Chappers, where Hugo Lloris eating a buggies also yesterday. Caroline Wozniacki ate a flying ant on Wednesday.
It was bigger than a bug. I don't want to get into size comparisons between the flying ant, but it was huge. It was like grasshopper size.
It's all getting I'm a Celebrity, isn't it?
It is. I think Hugo Lloris will never need to go on I'm a Celebrity. Thank you very much, Tony. Ferrari Sebastian Vettel was quickest ahead of Lewis Hamilton in second practice for this weekend's British Grand Prix. Vettel leads Hamilton by a point in the Drivers' Championship, and Jack Nicholls has been watching for us. Jack.
Yes, and it was Hamilton who was quickest in the morning session, but in the afternoon he couldn't really hook it up. He had a bit of a scruffy couple of laps, and as a result ended 0.2 of a second slower than Sebastian Vettel. Mercedes still looks strong, and Hamilton in particular around this circuit has been dominant. He's looking to make it 5 British Grand Prix wins in a row, which would be incredibly impressive, but it looks as though he's going to have more of a fight on his hands than he has the last few years.
Thank you, Jack. We'll have live commentary of the British Grand Prix on Sunday's 5 Live Sport. Leeds Rhinos' new director of rugby, Kevin Sinfield, says he wouldn't have accepted the job if it wasn't the right thing. He's replaced Brian McDermott with the team 4th from bottom in Super League. And Jurgen Klopp says Loris Karius was 100% affected by a concussion in the Champions League final loss to Real Madrid. Both sets of players are in the tunnel at the moment in Nizhny Novgorod, waiting to come out. The referee is there as well. Would you expect Uruguay to continue to be patient, Chris? Maybe try and nick something on a set piece, and then if it's still 1-0 with 20 to go, then be a bit more expansive?
Yes, I think that's pretty accurate. What I do expect this second half, I expect fireworks. I think that they will be, you know, we talked about their disciplinary record and commended them on it. You know, this is it. This is it, you know, maybe their last 45 minutes of this World Cup, and we know by their nature they're not going to chuck it in. This is going to be a ferocious second half.
Brazil against Belgium still to come this evening on 5 Live, and then of course tomorrow England against Sweden, followed by the hosts against Croatia. But now back to Alistair Bruce-Ball alongside Chris.
Thank you, Mark. Yes, the winners of this one meet the winners of tonight's game in the semi-final in St. Petersburg. So half-time here. Uruguay 0, France 1. Little conference in the centre circle. Antoine Griezmann has the ball tucked underneath his arm. France playing in bright white. He's chatting there to Olivier Giroud and Paul Pogba. And Uruguay in the light blue shirts, black shorts and black socks with the blue tops. And Chris Sutton, we just saw another picture there of a rather frustrated looking Edinson Cavani. Big miss for them today.
Yep, and I can't see him coming on. He's sat on the bench, but it's not going to happen.
France are giving the ball from kickoff straight to Luis Suarez, not wise. Suarez has given it back. Here's Kante. Kante to Griezmann. Kante's continued his run through the middle. Neither manager's made a change at half-time. Lovely layoff from Giroud here to Griezmann. Griezmann was looking to his right, took his eye off the ball, and Jimenez came in and made the challenge. That was opening up.
Yeah, that was an opportunity wasted from Griezmann. He had a look, he saw Mbappe's run, had got the run on the left-back Laxalt on his inside. Just had to slip him in, but took the extra touch and the chance was gone. 30
seconds gone in the second half. Uruguay needing to show all of that garra, the word that means their fight, their grit, that they've so often displayed on the World Cup stage. Kante on the ball for France inside his own half. Clever there, look left, look right, saw the pass and gives it to Tolisso. I'll give you the lineups in just a second. Here's Pavard, curly-haired right back for France in his blue boots, and Mbappe's in the mood. Step over and a bit of speed to get away from Laxalt. Not happy with just beating him once, tries it twice, plays it now back to Pavard. Pavard is tripped, and France get themselves a free kick on the right-hand side. France have Lloris in goal, Pavard, Varane, Umtiti and Lucas Hernandez. Hernandez has been booked in the game. You've got Kante and Tolisso in central midfield, Pogba and Mbappe, Griezmann and Giroud. France taking their time over the free kick early in the second half. Griezmann will take it. It's not too dissimilar a position to where he took the one in the first half that led to the goal, and the delivery for that was superb. Griezmann whips it in this one though, too close to Muslera.
Poor delivery. You expect better from Griezmann, especially after that wonderful delivery in the first half. Too close to the keeper.
Muslera bowls the ball out underarm, gets it back from Godin. Look at the speed from Griezmann, who tackles Muslera, and the ball goes behind for a goal kick. If Muslera had been in front of his goal there, that was in, but Griezmann came in like a whippet.
I mean, Griezmann did what all forwards should do, shut the goalkeeper down, but what was he doing? Tried a little Cruyff turn there. That would have been it.
Muslera clears with his right foot, all in red, the Uruguayan goalkeeper. They're playing from right to left in this second half as we're looking at it. Lucas Hernandez for France clears to the halfway line. Ball breaks loose. Suarez, nice turn on Umtiti, but Varane was there to intercept. The ball is volleyed back forward, and Suarez always onside, and Varane had to stretch to clear that. And France, things looking a little bit loose at the back in the early stages of the second half. Pogba's header forward. Godin chests it down, takes it past Griezmann, flicks it forward. Hernandez jumped into Hernandez there. Didn't win the ball. France have it. Pavard, half volleyed, high clearance downfield. Godin underneath it, heads it down, and Lucas Torreira, who sits in front of the back four, did well there because Griezmann was coming in behind him, and France would have had a very good chance to counter-attack if he hadn't got to the ball. Mbappe's made a run centrally here. Tolisso's played the ball to Pogba. 3 minutes gone in the second half. Uruguay 0, France 1. Pavard and Pogba exchanging passes. Pogba's going to use his strength here to hold off Mattia Vecino. It's back with Lloris, who made that quite wonderful save. Full stretch at the end of the first half. We saw 3 or 4 more replays of that at half-time, and it just got better and better and better. Free kick France. Here's the Uruguay lineup. Muslera in goal, Cáceres at right back, Laxalt at left back, Jimenez and Godin, the two centre-backs from Atletico Madrid, Lucas Torreira in front of them, Nathan Nandez on his right, Mattia Vecino on his left, Bentancur, who's been booked in this game and now can't play in the semi-final if Uruguay can turn this round and get there, because that's his second booking of the tournament, and then Christian Stuani, formerly of Middlesbrough, in support of Luis Suarez up front. We've been saying it all tournament. Luis Suarez has caught the headlines in World Cups for all sorts of different reasons. 7 goals in 12 games. The handball that prevented Ghana winning the quarter-final in 2010 saw him suspended for the semi, and of course the bite on Giorgio Chiellini. And you do wonder, don't you, Chris, what's coming from Suarez, because he's got to do something here to save his nation.
Uruguay could do with a bit of bite up top. They haven't threatened enough. He needs to step up. Cavani's not here. He owes Uruguay.
5 minutes gone in the second half, and Mbappe now is going to take this free kick, which makes it slightly different from the right. Mbappe with his right foot whipped into the far post. Muslera's brave, comes out and punches.
Good keeping, very good keeping. Brave. That's a wonderful ball in from
Pogba.
Mbappe.
Yeah, fabulous ball. And Pogba's clattered there. He went for it. Muslera went for it. Neither gave an inch. And Pogba's come off worse. Although he's picked himself up, seems to be okay. Just holding his right hand at the moment, Paul Pogba. Corentin Tolisso wants a drink here. Why is Suarez saying he's going to give the ball back? He went out for a throw. What are you doing? Muslera punched it out. It's a French throw. Suarez was saying, I'm going to take the throw and throw the ball back to France. 5.5 minutes gone in the second half. France leading 1-0. Brazil, Belgium on the way tonight. Full commentary from 7 o'clock. Giroud down by the corner flag. Ball almost went out for a corner. Nandez can't control. Throw in France. And they're managing the game quite nicely at the moment, the French. Tolisso under pressure. Gets it to Giroud. His cross is deflected. Tolisso stretches. Can't take that into the area. Bentancur clears with his right foot. Way beyond Suarez.
Quite direct though, aren't they, Ali, when they get the ball? Don't try and play through the midfield. They just try and hit Suarez and get the knockdowns.
Laxalt heads it forward. This is World Cup quarter-final action on 5 Live in the BBC World Service across Africa. And France at the moment heading for a 6th World Cup semi-final as things stand. Giroud jumps, flicks on. Griezmann left that for Mbappe, who was herring through the middle. Jimenez just got there in time to clear for Uruguay. Nice touch from Giroud, then the nutmeg on Laxalt. Griezmann's there to help him out, 25 yards out, and he sees Hernandez in space, just outside the area. Low pass into Mbappe. Mbappe down by the byline, eventually blocked by Jimenez, and the ball is behind for a French corner.
Yeah, Mbappe just drifting over to the left-hand side. Ball slits him inside the box, sharp turn. Jimenez saw it out. It's a challenge in. And France, they look comfortable at the moment.
They do. 7 minutes gone in the second half. We saw late pressure at the end of the first half from Uruguay and the brilliant save from Lloris, but so far second half, France very much in control. And a second goal would make that even more so. Griezmann gets ready to take the corner with his left foot from the left at pace, headed away by Suarez. Pavard is there, fancies a shot with his right foot and slices it well wide. We know why he went for that, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Wonderful goal against Argentina. He's actually hurt his foot taking that shot. That was dreadful. 35 yards out, right-hand side of the box. It was well high and wide.
England get themselves in quarter-final action tomorrow. 5 Live Sports starts at 11 o'clock, building up to that one, but of course you'll have the build-up from 6 o'clock in the morning on breakfast. And Rio Ferdinand, by the way, a guest on Robbie Savage's World Cup breakfast from 8:30. Uruguay 0, France 1. We in the car on the way to the game today, we're just having a little listen to the 1982 World Cup song to get in the mood for England. This time Ron Greenwood's squad that went to France in 82. Terry Butcher would have been singing along merrily to that.
Well,
Titi. There's a foul here though. Uruguay, Bentancur goes down. Uruguay get the free kick just inside their own half.
I think it was Kante. Bentancur. I just wonder, he may be lucky to get away with that, Kante.
2 yellow cards in the game so far. Cáceres on the right, closed down quickly there by Hernandez. And the ball goes out for a Uruguayan throw, which Cáceres gets ready to take. Uruguay 0, France 1. Wonder whether Maxi Gomez, the 21-year-old striker, who some say is sort of kind of the next Suarez coming through, will get a look in the last half hour, 20 minutes here if it remains this way. Nandez with a good header in towards Suarez. Nice layoff from Suarez to Stuani. Stuani tries the pull back. Kante's there, of course, for France to read it and intercept. Hernandez is caught and fouled, and that's a free kick for France in their left back position.
He's not done enough, Stuani. Look, big boots to fill. Massive boots. But he has to do better. That was an opportunity to put a decent cross into the middle. But that final pass just hasn't been there for Uruguay.
Lloris gets ready to take the free kick, which he does with his left foot. Plays it down the left wing, and Giroud easily wins a header, nods it into the middle of the pitch. Vecino gets onto it for Uruguay. Bentancur plays it back to Terrera. who's got Griezmann in front of him. Torreira plays it straight up the middle to Bentancur. Nice ball to Vecino. Vecino quickly on to Nandez. He had to stretch, gets his low cross in. Crossing's not been the best. Umtiti takes too long. He's lost it in the French penalty area here. Just about gets away with it. Bentancur slices the shot badly, and it's behind for the goal kick.
Oh, really good hassling and harrying from Uruguay. Umtiti taking a chance. Left-hand side of the box. Heavy touch. Put under pressure. He slips. Hooks the ball away. Bentancur's half a chance. 18, 19 yards. Slashes at it wildly. Chance goes begging.
Just spotted a Scottish saltire, which is hanging directly above Hugo Lloris's goal between the first tier and second tier here. And that's the one we saw the close-up of at half-time that says "We prefer curling" is written on it in the white cross of the saltire. The Scots are here. Scottish season's going to start quite soon, isn't it? Chris, you've got some football coming your way, which is weird to think about sitting here in Russia.
Yep, the Betfred Cup. It's not the World Cup, it's the Betfred Cup. It's big up there.
11 minutes gone, second half. This is the World Cup. This is Uruguay 0, France 1. This is Olivier Giroud with Lax out behind him. Giroud doing a good job for France this afternoon, as is Kante. Brings it forward. Pogba tries to turn a little pass around the corner to Griezmann. That's blocked and out for another French throw. You just feel, Chris, that the first 11 minutes of this game have just gone. You know, Uruguay haven't been able to do anything with that first 11 minutes.
And I think there's going to be a change. Maxi Gomez.
That's who I was talking about.
Yeah, and I think, you know, at the start, was it going to be Stuani? Was it going to be Gomez? And more of a physical presence. He's gone early with the change. I think he's quite right to do, because they just haven't offered enough, Uruguay.
Suarez needs help. Challenged by Varane. Suarez goes down incredibly dramatically again.
He's the boy who cried wolf, isn't he? All the time. You never know when he's hurt.
That was a free kick, but again, he really emphasised it to make sure he got it. Maxi Gomez then on his way, 21 years old, plays his football in Spain, scored 17 goals for Celta Vigo last season and has made one substitute appearance in this tournament. Suarez just outside the area, lays it off to Bentancur. Bentancur running forward, breaks to Cáceres. Cáceres' ball into the box is cleared away by Pavard. Moment of danger for France there. Nandez has it again. Right hand side, plays it to Cáceres, tries to turn and play it down the line for Nandez to chase. Toliso's there, goes down. Uruguay get the throw. Half a chance there, half a chance.
Better. Good switch out to the right hand side. Cáceres fired the ball across.
Two of them coming on for Uruguay, and we'll get the second sub for you in just a second. So Oscar Tabarez has decided that things have to change. He's right, 1-0 down. Header flicked on into the French penalty area. Just flicked beyond Suarez, but he gets to the ball first on the left-hand side. Curls across in with his left foot. Drops on the edge of the area. Cáceres, half volley, poor shot, over the bar behind for the goal kick. Christian Rodriguez, Juliet says, is the other player coming on, who's the 32-year-old who plays his club football for Peñarol at home in Uruguay. Also a goal scorer, though, 6 goals in 10 league games at the start of the latest season. So Gomez on for Stuani, that is the like for like, the 21-year-old, and Bentancur, who's on the booking, is coming off for Christian Rodriguez. Gomez is taking his place alongside Suarez in attack. That's exactly what you'd expect. And Christian Rodriguez, this man is a pit bull. This looks like the fellow who was going to cut your hair in Rostov-on-Don, which I was quite worried about when we went in. He was all tattoos and muscles and grimaces, and I thought, I'm not sure I can let Chris go through with this, but you were brave, Chris.
You weren't as worried as me, I can assure you.
Got a lovely photo of that with the Chop Chop brothers, as you called them. Toliso's, well, not to their face, obviously. Toliso's gone down hurt. Uruguay have made the double change, so we can get a stoppage in play. Just gives me time to remind you, Brazil-Belgium, 7 o'clock UK time tonight. Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin in the cooking pot in Kazan, as we called it there. And then tomorrow, Sweden-England at 3 in full-on 5 live. Russia-Croatia at 7 o'clock.
I'll tell you, that challenge, Nandez, that was naughty. Had his arms up. It's all okay using your arms as leverage. No, I think he deliberately elbows Tolisso there. It's a poor challenge.
Suarez is complaining about something to the assistant referee. Just going to keep a close eye on Suarez here. He and Mbappe are deep in conversation. When it doesn't go his way, he can get frustrated. He can do silly things. There is a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, and 15 minutes has just disappeared for Uruguay in this second half.
And it's okay, the frustration is always played on the edge, Luis Suarez, but he has to keep his head as a senior member.
Look at what he's done there. He's given the ball back to Varane, and then he's immediately run in and closed him down, and Varane panicked a little bit there and put himself under pressure. France have cleared to the halfway line. France looking for a second goal, you imagine, that would seal the deal and get them into the World Cup semi-final. Suarez battling for it. There's Rodriguez, the stocky fella I was telling you about. Vecino on the ball. Pogba's just big and strong there. Knocks Vecino off it, strides forward. Pogba at his best, slides the ball to his left-hand side. Tolisso gives it to Griezmann. One touch, shoots! Muslera, dreadful mistake! It's gone right through his hands and into the back of the net. And Antoine Griezmann has probably put France in the semi-finals of the World Cup. And poor old Fernando Muslera will just want the ground to open up and swallow him up. It's a howler. It's Uruguay 0, France 2.
It's an absolute shocker. You feel for the goalkeeper, but at this level, it's totally unacceptable. And Griezmann, goalkeepers gobble these up in training day after day. It's straight at him. Nice strike from Griezmann. Should be meat and drink. Just take it in, catch it on your chest. The ball does move a little bit, but I'm afraid, Muslera, you've had an absolute shocker. Awful goalkeeping. He's trying to palm it away. Just catch it.
Must try and describe it to you best we can, because I'm sure you will get to see it at some point. But the shot swerves a little bit. No, listen, you said it swerved. I'm not giving him an excuse. It's shoulder height, and he tries to slap it with both of his palms. Just catch it. Just catch it. Surely.
And you see a picture of a young Uruguayan fan in tears, but you feel for goalkeepers, but that you can only describe it as an absolute stinker. That will be the worst moment of his career.
That is the worst goalkeeping howler of this World Cup. I can't think of one worse than that. Lax out on the left-hand side. Uruguay 0, France 2. I'll tell you what was slightly weird as well. Griezmann didn't really celebrate it. We know his connections with the Uruguayans. Martin Cáceres, I know. Uruguay's right back gave him a low five. They slapped hands together as he went back to the halfway line. What's going on there? I don't get that at all. Corner for Uruguay. France lead 2-0. Got to score soon. Corner to the back post. Cáceres attacks it. Headed behind by Hernandez. It's another corner for Uruguay.
Yeah, well, they're going to get desperate now, aren't they? It's a tale of two goalkeepers, isn't it? When you go back to that save, Lloris, first half, tipping the ball away, save of the tournament, and then we have howler of the tournament.
Fernando Muslera looking at him now, standing alone inside his own half. Dreadful error. Corner for Uruguay. France lead 2-0. Headed away. Rodriguez chests it down. Left-footed shot. Blocked by Pogba. Has another effort just wide of the right-hand post. And Suarez standing miles offside. Wasn't really interfering with play. And it's gone behind for a goal kick to France. But that, just dreadful goalkeeping. You can't excuse it. You can't put it any other way, Chris. He tries to slap it when he could have caught it. He sort of hits it sidearm rather than just put both palms on it and push it forward.
Look, if your 10-year-old son let that in, you'd have to tell him, you haven't covered yourself in glory there.
Chris Sutton's School of Parenting skills coming to the fore. That is a good challenge. One there by Gomez, who goes to ground, won't get the free kick. Uruguay desperate now, just got a chase. Going to fly into the tackles, need to get a goal back if they can. My 1-0 prediction's gone out of the window, unfortunately.
Too negative.
France leading 2-0. Kante up towards Giroud. Are France looking like potential world champions? Well, it flicks and the tricks now between Mbappe and Griezmann. Pavard goes down. France don't get the free kick, and eventually the referee belatedly gives it to them.
Why does he stop the game, the referee, in this situation? Isn't it a head knock?
No, he's given the free kick, but he's given it 5 seconds late.
That's too late.
I agree.
They played advantage. I think France had the ball. Maybe they didn't.
Final Russian idiom on the way, my last one, and it's actually quite apt. for Fernando Muslera, because if you have a terrible day, I mean, to give you an example, if you were sort of to get up late, miss an appointment, you get to midday, the whole day's gone. You say in Russia that the day has gone under the cat's tail.
All right, yeah.
And I would argue that Fernando Muslera's day has gone under the cat's tail, poor fella. 25 minutes to play.
I wouldn't say your day's been perfect.
France 0, Uruguay 2. Pogba with the free kick towards Giroud. And Gomez for Uruguay, 21-year-old, plays it to his right-hand side. Now Suarez is on the he's offside, and he knew it. He had to stop moving, which was clever because the pass has actually made its way all the way to the left-hand side, and Rodriguez is here to Torreira. Back to Rodriguez. Rodriguez, little left-footed ball to Laxalt. Laxalt's cross in. Gomez controls, but with his back to goal, then loses it to Kante, chested down by Jimenez in the centre circle, and France totally and utterly in control and heading towards a semi-final at the moment against either Brazil or Belgium. Suarez air shot there, trying to turn a first-time pass around the corner.
No space in behind, you think, Mbappe, Uruguay having to push and press.
Yeah, it could be fun for France, this, in the last 20 minutes or so. Griezmann finds Pogba. Pogba's enjoying himself, pirouettes on the ball in the centre circle. Got that sort of lazy running style, give and go. Mbappe certainly doesn't. He's just express speed. That was a rather... Oh, and he just gets a little knock there from Rodriguez and Mbappe off the ball, and he's writhing around in agony, and Pogba's going to knock it out. And now it's kicking off. Now it's kicking off. Godin comes flying in and tries to lift Mbappe to his feet. Suarez is right on the scene. The French players in their white shirts are around, protecting him on the floor. It was a tiny little off-the-ball incident.
Yeah, it looked innocuous. There didn't look to be too much in it. Now, what I would say is Mbappe is lying on the floor. I think he's milked it. Now he's on his feet. So he's rolling around, and all of a sudden he's up on his feet. Yeah. I think Godin was incensed. He was furious.
Umtiti and Suarez are teammates at Barcelona. Umtiti is trying to calm Suarez down. Suarez wants to get to Mbappe. He's absolutely livid. Do you know what? The only thing I would say, Chris, about Suarez being particularly incensed by that is that we've seen him do that to other teams as well. So you have slightly less sympathy. But I think Mbappe was naughty there. I think he might have been caught.
Yep.
But Godin thought he was overacting, and you just really hope this game doesn't descend now.
I mean, how can Suarez have a pop at another player for that?
Still going, by the way. Still going. Pogba's getting involved with Nandez, and now Varane is holding Pogba back. And Deschamps on there. Deschamps is on and pulling Pogba away. Pogba's on a yellow card, don't forget. I tell you what, if he gets booked, Chris, he's out of the semi-final.
Yeah, well, that's stupidity. He should be booked, Pogba. You can't react like that. But I told you, second half, fireworks.
You said it. That's what we've got. Have any yellow cards come out at the moment? I've not seen any. We've got a drop ball, and at the moment there's a drop ball, and there's about 14 players who want to kick the ball. Yellow card. 2 yellow cards, and Mbappe's booked. Rodriguez is booked. They were the 2 players involved in the initial incident. Chris, you're going to watch it now.
Rodriguez, it's barely a touch on Mbappe. 1 roll, 2 rolls. Don't become a Neymar, Mbappe. What's he doing? It can't hurt that much.
He's having a fantastic tournament. He does not need to do that.
No, and he stays down. He rolling around on the floor. That's too long. On with Godin.
By the way, foolish from Pogba. I've just seen the replay of what he did, getting into a conversation with Nandez. He puts his hand behind his head and just... I won't do it to you, Chris, because I know you're a gentle soul. He cuffs the back of his head. France 0, Uruguay 2, and at the end of all of that, Mbappe is booked and Christian Rodriguez is booked. Pogba might be lucky there not to get booked. He would have been out of the semi. Brazil-Belgium tonight, 7 o'clock in full on 5 Live. The winner of that one plays the winner of this one, and this one now has got a real edge to it. Pogba, right-footed floated ball, Laxalt back-pedalling, wins the header against Mbappe. He's definitely fired up.
That's that ball now, isn't it? Uruguay up the pitch. Mbappe, he hangs out on the right-hand side, looking for the ball in behind.
Pavard floats the ball down the line, Laxalt right through the back of Mbappe, wins the free kick. Now Mbappe's got to keep his cool. He's 19.
Yep.
Playing in his first World Cup. He's been brilliant, but he's on the yellow card now, and they're going to go at him.
Yeah, and I wonder why he got the card. Play acting? I don't know. He didn't throw any punches, he didn't slap anybody, he went down.
Maybe it was for trying to hang noodles off the referee's ears. As they say in Russia.
They do.
Which is pulling the wool over your eyes. Hernandez. Acrobatic volley straight out of play for a throw-in. 20 minutes to play. Uruguay need to find 2 goals. And Oscar Tabarez, the 71-year-old manager who has to walk with the aid of a walking stick here, just slowly shuffles his way out to the edge of the pitch to try and get some instructions across. Uruguay heading out of the World Cup as it stands. Suarez doing his best to get them back in it. Towards Rodriguez. Suarez goes down on the edge of the area. Knew he wasn't going to get it, so he picks himself up. Griezmann chases a ball. Godin gets there first. Godin just inside the French half. Right-footed, curling pass away to Nandez on the right-hand side. His low ball into the area. Umtiti's there. First-time clearance. That's out for a throw into Uruguay on the right.
Oh, I love it. A bit of urgency now from Uruguay. Getting bodies in the box. Here comes a long throw.
You're not going to like the name of the fella who's coming on for Uruguay next, by the way, Chris. I think you might be calling him the number 20. Nandez plays it to Cáceres. Cáceres' cross deflected and cleared by Hernandez. That is because Jonathan Ureta-Vizcaya is getting ready to come on, and we think he's going to replace Luis Suarez. Wow, I would be amazed. You could knock me down with a feather if that happens. Throw in for Uruguay into the penalty area. Kante heads it away. Laxalt up against Mbappe, had to win that header. Caceres ball forward, intercepted by Umtiti. Griezmann's in acres here if they can get it to him on the right hand side. France knocking it around the back 4. I'd be fascinated to see Suarez's reaction if he gets taken off. Lloris clears with his left foot. What a vitally important save that was from him, by the way, at the end of the first half, with France now leading 2-0. Could so easily have been 1-1. Pavard's ball to Pogba. Pogba to Kante. Kante wide left here to Lucas Hernandez. And the 4th official is standing in the way of the number that is going up for the player that's coming off. But the number of Ureta-Vizcaya is very clearly seen. Pavard on the right towards Mbappe. Back heel is behind Pavard. Pavard stretches to tow it back to Griezmann. Griezmann under pressure from Rodriguez. Pogba now has it 35 yards out. France looking for a third to sew it up. Tolisso just over the bar with a right-footed curler, and behind for the goal kick. It is number 8 for Uruguay coming off. It is not number 9. It's Nandez.
Yeah, Nandez. It would have been a shock to see Suarez come off. That's not far away though from Tolisso. Had the runner, Hernandez bombing forward on the left. That created the space for him to come back inside on his right foot. 20 yards out, tries to bend it into that far top corner. He's inches away.
France less than 20 minutes away now from a 6th World Cup semi-final.
Semi-final good enough for Deschamps?
That's a question for our listeners, I think, Chris, not for me. I've got to concentrate on the commentary. 85058 on the text, at BBC 5 Live on social media. I don't think so. I think you've got to win it, Chris. I think they've got the best squad in the tournament.
Well, you'll sack him then.
Well, it's not up to me to sack him. They're leading Uruguay 2-0. France, Chris's bet for the World Cup at the start of the tournament. Uruguay were your outside bet, and being well beaten by France at the moment. Cáceres on the ball, 17 minutes to go. BBC Radio 5 Live and the BBC World Service in Nizhny Novgorod here. Watching Samuel Umtiti play the ball back to Hugo Lloris, who can only knock that out of play first time, but that was the right thing to do.
Sensible goalkeeping, 2 up, don't try anything fancy.
Throw into Torreira, gotta be some urgency now from Uruguay. Cross in. That's Jimenez right up there jumping for the header, beaten to it. I think France might get a third on the break here, possibly, don't you?
Yeah, well, it looks that way because Mbappe, he just hangs out on the right-hand side. They've got that diamond in the midfield. France, Giroud ahead of that. But he's the outlet. He's the one ball in behind.
Long ball floated up towards the edge of the French area, headed away by Pavard. Here's Pogba. Chased down by Suarez. Wide to Pavard, up to Mbappe, lays it off. Torreira's there first for Uruguay, chased by Griezmann. Griezmann sticks out a leg and takes the ball off him. Tolisso to Griezmann on the halfway line, works it to his left and finds Lucas Hernandez. Mbappe and Giroud are making the same run through the middle there. Balls again with Tolisso. Griezmann has it, just strokes a Pass out to the left to Hernandez. France quite happy to knock it around. They're leading 2-0.
They're drawing them out, aren't they? Saying, come on, you've got to press us higher. You've got to take the game to us.
Mbappe's desperate for a goal, you can see it. He's lurking in the middle of the pitch at the moment, and France are just playing keep ball, and the passes are getting cheered. Lovely flick from Giroud. The back heel finds Griezmann on the right-hand side. Griezmann couldn't quite take it in his stride. Plays it back to Pavard. Pogba. Pavard. Griezmann again, wide right. Low ball finds Tolisso. 25 yards out. Tolisso threads a pass through to Hernandez on the left. Mbappe's in the middle, so is Giroud. Hernandez with his left foot looking for Mbappe, intercepted, back to Hernandez though, this time finds Mbappe, did really well to control that, turns it, dribbling, can't quite get past Laxalt. Giroud shoots, slices it, and it loops out and behind for the goal kick to Uruguay.
Yeah, you can hear the applause. Really good passage of play. I think the French are laying down a marker. This last couple of minutes kept the ball superbly well. They look like they're going to get a third. They're in total control.
And so much as well in the squad, isn't there, Chris, to bring off the bench, the likes of Fekir, who's made some impressive substitute appearances. Matuidi has not played today either. Christian Rodriguez for Uruguay plays it to Laxalt on the left-hand side. Laxalt, high swinging cross to the far post, nodded away. And chased down by Oreta Vizcaya. Cáceres trying to get onto his pass. Ball bounces off Cáceres' shins, and Kante comes gliding away with it for France. Indefatigable as always, Kante never looks tired, buzzing about, tackled there, and France get a throw over on the left-hand side. So Muslera's mistake has really cost Uruguay. They were 1-0 down, but as you say, Chris, it's a tale of two keepers. The Lloris blinding save end of the first half, and the shocker from Muslera.
Yeah, and you always feel at 1-0, different game. Uruguay would have felt themselves, they were still in it. The second one, a long, long way back.
13 minutes to play in Nizhny Novgorod. Right-footed ball from Torreira, finds Rodriguez, Laxalt, powering forward from left back, sliding in is Pavard, and France desperate to keep their clean sheet. If Uruguay get one now, we're going to have a very, very lively last 10 minutes or so on 5 Live. Brazil-Belgium, full commentary, 7 o'clock tonight. Laxalt, right-footed cross in. Tolisso's there, heads it sideways. Pogba lets it run across him. The ball bounces, he hoofs it high in the air. It's dropping just inside the French half. Godin heads it forward. This is where France could come on the break, but Griezmann hasn't found his pass. Cáceres for Uruguay. Spreads play to the right-hand side. That cross comes in, takes a deflection. Suarez was there, but Umtiti knew the danger, saw the danger, and clears it.
Fair play to Uruguay. Jimenez staying forward now, the centre half. They're gambling, they're going for it. We may as well lose 3 or 4.
Steven and Nzonzi getting ready to come on for France. They lead 2-0. Interesting challenge there from Pogba on the edge of the area. On Godin to win the header. Cáceres' cross takes a big deflection, drops down in the box. The ref spotted a push. That's a free kick for France. Uruguay 0, France 2. 12 minutes to play, and France, with Steven and Nzonzi coming on, are shutting up shop. Varane is down and hurt.
I think him and Varane and Umtiti have been immense when those balls have gone into the French box. They've gone and attacked it really well.
Brazil-Belgium, Chris, coming up at 7 o'clock. France against either of those two would be fascinating, wouldn't it? Because either of those two will come at France. They'll play differently to Uruguay.
Yeah, and I think that suits France. Said before, they don't like playing the sides who sit in. There's another skirmish there. I think Jimenez
with Tolisso, because Tolisso's taken his time to get off the pitch. Well, Tolisso came in for Matuidi today. Matuidi suspended. He might well be back for the semi-final.
Yeah. He'll come back in, pretty sure.
Yeah, he's a big favourite of Deschamps, and Steven Nzonzi comes in as well. But there's so much strength in depth, as I was saying, in this French squad. Ousmane Dembele, by the way, who's not really seen much action, and Didier Deschamps, funny enough, had a little pop-at, didn't he, ahead of this game, about his behaviour.
Funny timing there.
I know, at the start of last season, it was odd that. Giroud. Jumps for the ball here with Vecino. Vecino goes down holding his face. Approaching the last 10 minutes here. Uruguay 0, France 2. And France really have bossed it. Varane's header in the 40th minute of the game, and Griezmann's shot that went straight through the arms of Muslera, shot at him powerfully, but just slapped at it and slapped it into his own net. Uruguay 0, France 2. Wimbledon, by the way, continuing on Sports Extra, BBC Television and the BBC Sport website. Muslera with his right foot clears it right down the middle of the pitch, and Titi leaps high to win the header. Another Uruguayan player goes down. France continue. Griezmann has it, and Mbappe's making a run for him through the middle. Griezmann rolls it back to Pogba. Great man to have Pogba when you're trying to do this to a game as well, isn't he, Chris?
Yeah, and you see Nzonzi there. Kante just plonking themselves in front of that back four, getting the ball, popping the ball around, making it tick.
Lloris curls his clearance with his left foot down the right-hand side. Pavard chests it down, then knocks it straight out of play. Uruguay have 10 minutes here to try and find 2 goals.
I have to say, you've been impressed with France, though. Way they're seeing this game out. Uruguay haven't really threatened.
Godin playing one up through the middle, and Nzonzi there for his height as well, wins a header. The ball's played back to Cáceres. France trying to come on the break. Might happen now if Griezmann can get that ball. He can't. Torreira's ball to the edge of the area, and Titi heads it away. This runs for Giroud. Mbappe's in the middle. Giroud's going to try and use what pace he has to get down the left-hand side, but he's not going to get past Oretsevikaya, and that will be a free kick to Uruguay, which they'll take quickly and knock in to midfield. And their World Cup challenge is fading here. Torreira floats a pass away to his right. Oretsevikaya on the dribble from the right-hand side. Hope he doesn't score the goal, actually. It's going to be hard to get his name out quickly enough if he does whip one into the top corner. Cáceres gets a cross in. That's going to go behind for a goal kick. You can't see it, can you, Chris?
No,
you can't see it.
Have to get better quality into the box. Cáceres, decent opportunity to whip it in, and he gets it all wrong. But France are looking ominous, and you can see why many people, including myself, fancy France to go all the way. You know, you look at Belgium, they have issues at the back, however good their front line is. Brazil haven't really lit the tournament up.
Good at the back though, aren't they, Brazil? Don't concede too many. Brazil-Belgium tonight in full, 7 o'clock on 5 Live. Should be a cracker. Pogba to Nzonzi. France leading Uruguay 2-0 and just knocking the ball around them for fun at the moment. Pogba to Giroud. The back heel doesn't come off. Pogba comes sliding in to win a ball on the halfway line. Pavard plays it back to Hugo Lloris. Key moment in the game, the Lloris save in added time at the end of the first half. At that point, France led 1-0. It was quite brilliant for him to get there and get a strong enough hand on the ball from the Cáceres header. And then Muslera's mistake has done the rest in the second half. Uruguay attacking again down that right-hand side with Oretsevikaya, and he's got pace as well. Sticking with him well, though, is Hernandez, and he's managed to run the ball behind for a goal kick.
Hernandez just puts the burners on himself on that right-hand side. Goes behind. In some ways, Uruguay, Brazil, Suarez against Neymar. That would have been a dive fest, wouldn't it? A roll fest.
Could have been some rolling, definitely. Lloris getting ready to take the goal kick. Brazil, Belgium it is this evening. Sweden, England kicks off at 3 o'clock tomorrow UK time, and 5 Live Sport is on air from 11 o'clock. Looking at pictures of very glum Uruguayan fans, thousands of them again.
They've done the country proud, though. They have small nation, punch above the weight, overachievers. I think the question today was about France, really. Were they going to step up?
And they have done. Rodriguez stoops to win a header. Suarez leaves it cleverly. Nzonzi, though, brilliant for France. And Chris thinks Mbappe might be in here, but Pogba's delayed the pass, and so Mbappe has had to come short. If he'd let that go first time, I think you might have been right. You'd have looked clever there, Chris. Here's Kante on the halfway line. 6 minutes left of Russia 2018 as well. For Uruguay and for us, been an incredible tournament so far. Still some fabulous football to come. Very best coverage here on 5 Live, and France just totally and utterly in control here, just strolling around, playing the passes into feet, Hernandez on the ball, that heavy pocket of French fans in the lower tier away to our right-hand side with the tricolours waving from side to side as Lloris even has time to dummy Suarez, line himself up a left-footed clearance, fires it onto the chest of Pogba. Pogba plays it back to Varane. Varane finds Kante in the centre circle, and Mbappe's making a run through the middle again. And Hernandez gives it to Giroud on the left.
A stroll. It's an absolute stroll. Really knocking it around exceptionally well.
Yeah.
Uruguay cannot get near them.
Pavard in space on the right-hand side. Who's going to get this pass? Pogba comes short for him. He misses Pogba out and gives it to Nzonzi. Then Griezmann, 30 yards out. Options to his left. One of them's Kante. Kante plays it back to Hernandez. Are the French going to finish by putting the icing on the cake? Leading
French fancy.
What I was actually going to say was, or as they say in Russia, because it's not the icing on the cake in Russia, it is the
cherry.
It's the cherry on the cake. Throw in France, 5 minutes to play, and your challenge next season, Chris Sutton, is going to be to get all these Russian idioms into your 5 Live commentaries and whatever else you do without anyone spotting. Pogba on the ball for France. 3 Uruguayan defenders it takes to knock him over, but they've done it. They've got the ball back. 4 minutes to play. They need 2 goals. Suarez plays the ball down the left-hand side. Rodriguez is puffing and panting, chasing hard. Varane holds him up. He knocks Varane over. Goal kick for France. They never give up, Uruguay, Chris, but they know they're beaten, don't they? It's done.
It looks that way. Body language tells you that. But, we talk about the Uruguayan centre-halves, Godin, Jimenez. How good are the French centre-halves? Young centre-halves still, and Titi and Varane. 1v1 situations, they're good. They're athletic, they're strong. But if France go up in this tournament, they get a goal ahead. It suits them to sit back in, soak it up.
Kylian Mbappe has done his bit for the day. 3 minutes to play plus added time. He is off. The French fans are doing the Poznan. They are celebrating. They are pretty much into the World Cup semi-finals, where they will meet Brazil or Belgium in St. Petersburg next week. Semi-finals in full on 5 Live, Tuesday and Wednesday next week. The final is on Sunday week. Could England possibly get all the way there? Playing Sweden tomorrow for a place in the semi-finals. Pogba to Griezmann. Dembele's on, by the way. Came on for Mbappe. Lovely ball. Pogba took it well. Pogba on the drive. Little bit of skill brought down. Jimenez says no free kick. This is a chance for someone to strike on goal.
The Godfather. Left-footed. Cold. Calculated.
Yeah, it's Griezmann territory.
What a touch from Pogba. He's been really good, hasn't he? Argentina, and today looks comfortable, composed on the ball. Lovely touch to take the ball away from the Uruguayan midfielder.
I think Griezmann's moved that free kick back a couple of yards from where Pogba fell. I don't know whether he's done that deliberately or whether that's just where he's going to take it from. I'm going to say this is going in. What are you going to say?
Into the wall.
Okay. 2 minutes to play. Could this be
Jimenez in
the
tears
cherry on the cake? He is in tears in the wall because Uruguay are going out of the World Cup. Griezmann, 3 goals in this World Cup. Chance for a 4th from the free kick. Shrill blast on the whistle. Here he comes with the left foot just over the bar and behind for the goal
kick. We were both
kick.
wrong. Not the first time.
1.5 minutes to play. Chris Sutton with us on 5 Live in the World Service, and you're right, Jimenez is in floods of tears out on the pitch, and there's still 3 or 4 minutes to play here. That's what it means to be getting knocked out of the World Cup. And poor old Muslera in goal. I mean, they were already 1-0 down at that point, but he will feel terrible tonight. Free kick for Uruguay late in the game. We're into the 90th minute. Are we going to get some ridiculous late drama? Chris, you and I have seen a 94th minute goal for Belgium against Japan. We've seen a 95th minute goal for Iran against Morocco. It is not over. It's a free kick for Uruguay. 90th minute. Wonderful support again from the Uruguayan fans. They're behind that goal that Uruguay are attacking to our left, and all the Uruguayan players can see are the light blue shirts and the flags waving, and that'll make Jimenez cry even more. Ball into the area, terrible delivery. and it's headed away and out for a throw-in. And very shortly we're heading into added time on BBC Radio 5 Live. France are heading into the semi-finals of the World Cup. Long throw into the box. Hernandez is there. They've shown the silk and the class going forward, and they've shown the steel they've needed at the back. Throw into Laxalt, back out to the right-hand side. Cross comes in, and Zonzi is there, heads it straight up in the air. Giroud clears with his left foot. Not the pace of Mbappe up there anymore. 5 minutes. 5 minutes of added time still to be played. Could still happen. Torreira on the right. Kante's with him. Kante blocks the cross, and it's out for a Uruguayan throw. 5 minutes of added time underway. Brazil, Belgium on the way tonight. 7 o'clock UK time in just over 2 hours.
Virtually every player on the pitch other than the thrower in the box.
Jimenez with the throw. Long one. Umtiti heads it away. Flicked on by Dembele. He's got to chase his own header. It's played out to the right-hand side. Here's Jimenez, still in floods of tears. Left-footed cross into the penalty area. Headed away by Nzonzi. Griezmann's free if they can find him. France want to appeal for a handball. They're going to get that. Had that pass not been blocked, I think Griezmann was away on the halfway line.
Uruguay, they had to gamble, throw caution to the wind. They chucked everybody in the box. The hope of getting back in the game. It doesn't matter if France get another one.
France free kick. Sweden, England tomorrow at 3. Russia, Croatia. We'll be in Moscow for that. Chris, you're going to put the moustache of hope on?
Well, I tell you what, don't rule the Russians out.
Lloris with the long ball forward. The moustache of hope is the one that mimics the manager's moustache that all the Russians are growing or buying the fake ones and wearing to try and will their team towards the final. Fekir is waiting to come on for France. It's the Uruguayan fans actually making more noise inside the stadium at the moment, but they are going to be drowning sorrows tonight. They're heading out of the World Cup. Griezmann chases back. Good work to win the ball for France, and Griezmann is the player who's going to make way for Nabil Fekir. 3 minutes remaining in Nizhny Novgorod. A really solid, professional, classy performance from France, Chris Sutton.
Solid, they have been, solid at the back. I think it's been composed. I think it's been really impressive, albeit the second goal important. How they've seen this game through. They haven't panicked. They've controlled the tempo. Played when they had to. But it was such a big moment, wasn't it? Just seeing the Muslera error again. He won't sleep for a month, maybe a year. That will haunt him for the rest of his footballing life.
16th appearance at a World Cup finals today. His third World Cup, his 102nd cap. He will not have made any errors worse than that one. Juliet's actually just made a good point and scribbled the name Karius down on a bit of paper in terms of making a high-profile mistake in a massive, massive game, and what you then have to go through to deal with it afterwards. Deep in added time in Nizhny Novgorod, the French getting ready to celebrate. Brazil, Belgium on the way on 5 Live. Muslera clears, flicked on. Varane, who scored the first goal for France, wins a header. The ball comes back to him, thumps it, not the best pass. It hits Dembele, comes off his heels. Had he been a bit more measured there, France would have been away on the counter. It looks like it is going to finish 2-0, and France are going to boast a record of winning 5 of their last 6 quarter-finals at the World Cup, which is pretty impressive stuff. Pogba nods it forward, looking for Dembele. Godin thumps one forward for Uruguay. Varane wins the header. Here's Godin inside the French half, under pressure from Pogba. Ball is played to Torreira in the centre circle, floats it forward to the edge of the box. Cáceres flicks it on, looking for Suarez. Not seen Suarez in the last 15 minutes of the game. Another cross comes in from the right-hand side. It's too long. It bounces behind for the goal kick. 1 minute and 15 seconds to play. It's going to take a very good team to beat France at this World Cup, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, it is. I mean, now it gets really serious. You think Belgium and Brazil, how good is that against this French team? As I said, I think it will suit them. Teams who come on to France, that's when the French are at their best. They cover all bases.
Lloris with the goal kick. Giroud flicks it on. We're in the last minute of the game, and France are on the verge of the semi-finals at Russia 2018. Last attack for Uruguay. Their fans still heartily singing in the background here. Christian Rodriguez, stocky left winger, crosses the ball in. Lucas Hernandez is there to head it away. 30 seconds to play. Vecino will now chase down to the byline. His cross into the near post. Lloris catches it comfortably, falls on the ball, and France are just about there. And Didier Deschamps continues on his mission to become only the third man to win the greatest trophy in football as player and manager, to join Beckenbauer and Zagallo. And there it is, the full-time whistle blows. France are the first team through to the semi-finals in Russia, with goals from Raphael Varane in the first half, Antoine Griezmann in the second half, a brilliant save from Hugo Lloris between the two goals, and a dreadful error by the Uruguayan keeper Fernando Muslera, which he will regret for the rest of his life. It is only a game of football, I know, but it was a big one today. France have come out on top, Chris Sutton. They're through to the semi-finals.
Yeah, but the performance-wise, France have laid down a marker. I think they said, we are the favourites for this tournament. They deserve to win today. Yes, it was a howler, goalkeeping error, but then they saw the game through extremely comfortably. It is ominous now for the other teams who meet France.
Jose Maria Jimenez, the tears are flowing again. He cannot control himself. Fernando Muslera has just gone to congratulate Hugo Lloris. The two goalkeepers, the story really today. But France in the end, too good for Uruguay. They are into the semi-finals. The final score in Nizhny Novgorod is Uruguay 0, France 2.
Take every opportunity to say the name of that town, because we won't be back there this time in the World Cup. Lots of people getting in touch on social media. Ian says France weren't amazing, it's just that Uruguay were poor, toothless in fact. Chris, would you go along with that, or do you feel that Uruguay made France work for that win, other than the Muslera?
No, I wouldn't go along with that. I thought France were hugely impressive. No, I thought the first goal was vitally important, you know, against Uruguay, who, you know, they try and stay in the game and nick something. That's the way they play. They missed their star striker along with Suarez, Cavani. He was a big loss. But the second goal, horrendous goalkeeping error. You know, you can't say anything else. You feel for him, but on the big occasion, you know, that was game over then. But I thought France were extremely composed. The way they kept the ball, the way they saw the game through. France are the team to beat in this tournament.
Let's speak now to Julien Laurent, French journalist. Julien, we've seen France look spectacular, particularly at moments in the game against Argentina. Was this a more functional performance from them, do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was more clinical. I think it was more professional, which is good to see, because I think you need to be able to win in different ways if you want to go and win a World Cup. I think sometimes when the opposition allow you to do it, you have to be expensive and being good going forward. I think in other games you'll have to be very solid and very well organised, which I thought they were today. And also those little margins that made the difference in big games like set pieces. I thought again today they had that spot on. They were a bit lucky obviously on the second goal, but the first goal on set pieces is something that Uruguay are very strong at. I thought was spot on. Deschamps and the players have worked a lot on set pieces in the days leading into this match, and it's always good when the things that you've worked at training pay off in the game.
Tim Vickery, our South American football correspondent, joins us now as well. Tim, how different could it have been for Uruguay if it wasn't for Hugo Lloris' save?
Yeah, and the game was decided there, isn't it? I'm entirely with Chris. The first goal is absolutely vital. Well, it's 0-0. Uruguay are winning 0-0, if you like. And an error from Uruguay, a rash foul. They concede the goal. Right straight away had a chance to get back. A magnificent save from Hugo Lloris. So it does end up, I fear, being a tale of two goalkeepers. I feel very, very sorry for Muslera, who always looks like he's got an error in him. Modern balls are a conspiracy against the goalkeeper. That one did take a swerve, but he'd gone too far across. He wasn't in a good position to beat it out. I don't think Uruguay have any trouble going into the game admitting that France are better. How do you beat a side that's better than you? But you work harder and you make sure that you have no mistakes. Well, Uruguay had two mistakes today and it cost them very badly.
And you also want to have your best players available. How much of a difference did it make that Cavani wasn't there to work alongside Luis Suarez?
Huge difference. And the two of them, Suarez and Cavani, are one force. And a great shame, just as with Colombia.
The official World Cup coverage on SJ Radio.
Oh, there you go. France through. And Uruguay out. You've got Brazil and Belgium on tonight at 7 o'clock, shall I say. So we'll join you back up for that game. 7 o'clock is Brazil versus Belgium. But for this one, Uruguay, your time's up. Goodbye.